Three. Hello everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and today is a really awesome day, man. Let me tell you, today is the day. We are happy to be here at Codebreaker Real Talk with John Whitberg, Celestechaparro, and Eve Howard. Love you guys. So how's it
Hey.
doing? John, what's up? I like your face there.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, I've been having some personal issues, but I'm not going to talk about them on air. But there's this picture of me. I figured out they're my soul group. They're from Epsilon Reticuli, not Zeta Reticuli. That's a different thing. But and you've got these pictures here that last time we left off, we were going into my diplomatic service in the Dark Fleet. And so I sent you some pictures of some places and things that I've seen. And so let's see. Oh, you have up the mantis. Oh, wait. What happened?
Sorry, my laptop froze.
Oh, of
Because
course.
they're fucking with you guys. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're fucking with you guys.
Hold on, guys. Let me just shoot. I can't do this. Hold on. Let me just mute this. I'll be right back. Something's going on.
Okay.
Is she still recording? We're still recording, so we might as well just keep talking.
Yeah. Okay. So we left off at the start of my diplomatic service. I had just left training on Mars. And I was in I've worked out it's basically the Nazi equivalent of Montauk, sort of. We were like in Montauk, we were going from planet to planet and through time periods and into different timelines. But we were on a ship. That's the main difference. And this was the USS Heckler, Hoechler. And at first, I thought I only did 40 years of service. Now I think it may have been like 70, but I'm still not entirely sure. But
Excuse me, John, that would explain a lot because after like 210 and backs, they said sometimes the mind wipe doesn't work as well. And therefore, a lot of memories will start to seep through. And that might be one of the reasons why you have such wonderful recall.
yeah, I've thought of that too, and I'm not sure I'm supposed to be here. I have this could be a whole show in and of itself, but I actually have memories of being a kid in the 70s. And I think I may have been like cloned, and the me here is a clone who was like reinserted into the timeline. Like,
That's funny
I know you.
that, John, because my friend Power Lady, she told me she remembers me in 1971. I was born in 1971, but she remembers me already grown and with the bell bottoms, the whole ensemble, and I was already an adult. So I tell everybody I was even in Vietnam. Somehow they did age regress us. But go ahead, John. It's your story. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't mind. It's okay. Uh, so, anyways, I remember arriving on this ship, and I had up above the landing pad, or I think it was one level above the landing pad or the shuttle bay, whatever you want to call it, was my office. And that level where my office was and the level above that were the only place I was ever allowed to see. Because the level above that is where I had my living quarters. But and I had a bookcase, which was really unusual, because paper books aren't very common in space. But I did have one and a computer, and let's see, where was my first mission? Oh, Corellia was the name of the planet, which is odd because there's also a planet by that name in Star Wars. But yeah. But like I didn't know that. I remembered it before I knew that there was one called that in Star Wars. So like I'm just for the audience, like I'm not just pulling that out of my ass or something. Like I remembered it. Um, and it's this. It's an Earth-like planet. It's huge, like over twice the size of Earth. And there's these 8 spires at various points on the planet that go all the way up into space. And I remember in the upper level of the spire, we were waiting for an escort to take us down to the place where the negotiations were happening. And this spire was actually up in orbit. It went up that far from the surface of the planet up into orbit, and we were up there. And my assistant was a Chinese girl. She's actually a well-known actress. I'm not going to say her name on here because, like, I think she's a pretty decent person, both on and off planet. So, like, I'm not going to say anything about her. But she was Chinese, and she asked what my story was, essentially, and I told her about growing up on Vega Prime, and I had this recall a couple of months ago, and that opened up a whole new set of memories. But and she told me about the Chinese faction, how they're okay, history. I'm sure y'all are aware of like the Chinese Civil War at the end of World War II and all of that. How some people went to Taiwan. Well, a lot of if you can research this, there was also a brain drain in China at that time. A lot of scientists and top military people just disappeared. They went into space, just like the Nazis. So or underground maybe, but they became a part of the programs essentially, and that's how the Chinese faction came to be. They call themselves the Hong Long. I don't remember what that means. Something dragon or dragon something, I don't know. But anyways, and so we went down this space elevator thing onto this planet, and the gravity was heavier than Earth. The planets I'd grown up on were lighter than Earth. So that was really rough for me. Like they literally had to pick me up off the floor of the elevator because of that heavy gravity. And there was a city at the base of the spire, New Frankfurt. And this, let's see, what else? Oh, it was really, I'm not sure if this mission happened in the 1960s or if it was just for some reason, maybe this city had been made in the 1960s and it had just stayed there culturally. But like, it looked like the 60s. Like all the men were dressed like Cary Grant, all the women were dressed like Audrey Hepburn. Um, and so, oh, we got on a bus. It looked just like a normal bus on Earth, except it levitated. It didn't have wheels, and we were driven outside of the city to a base. And this base, it was in the side of a mountain, sort of, but also it went further underground. And it had clearly been built for someone not human. It had clearly been made for someone who was like 30 feet tall, at least. Like, and it was ancient, so like the giants who, like, I have a couple of recalls of like doing research on the giants that seeded the universe and everything. And they're actually where we're from, the people we come from, basically. But that's a whole nother story. And but this was one of their ancient structures that had been abandoned. And we had a diplomatic meeting there with the Corellians. I have a picture of them. Whenever Veronica gets to show these pictures, they'll be on there. But basically, they looked like grays, but they were brown. And so,
I'm gonna look for them, okay?
yeah, they're the brownish grays wearing white robes, is the ones I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, those guys. Corellians. And I remember they were nice enough. They were also very like business-like, like very official and like uptight. And I don't remember exactly what we were negotiating. Like, I think they wanted to put sanctions on someone, uh, like trade sanctions or something, but like we were the go-between. Um, uh, I'm not sure exactly what it was, but yeah. And Veronica, do you remember Corellia at all, by any chance? You're muted.
I don't know too much of the names of things, but
Okay, yeah.
I do have many, many memories of certain things. So I would
It
have,
was like it was an Earth type planet, but
oh,
like it had space elevators.
oh yeah, that one, yes. And I've been on them many times, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was where these guys are the native inhabitants. And so we did that. I also remember, let me think, what else did we do there? Oh, I remember they make whiskey on that planet. Uh, really good whiskey, actually.
My favorite is whiskey. Even my, yeah, that's funny.
Mine,
Yeah.
mine too. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and So that was, and then I remember going to this, well, it's called a hub planet or a hub world, which is probably, that's what we're going to go to after we go through, after Earth goes through our ascension process. That's where we're going, is to a hub planet, which is essentially, it's a planet where all of the races in that part of the galaxy are put together on this planet, and they have to get along, and then they're allowed to go out into the universe. But I remember being a diplomat, I spent a lot of time in places like that. But in this one, we met with these Rigelian, they're called Rigelians, they're from the star Rigel. They look like Asians, but they're 4 feet tall. And we met with them. They wanted samples of black goo, which I imagine all of you know about black goo, so I won't, but maybe your audience doesn't. Basically, it's a liquid. It looks like oil, that black oil. It triples your IQ. It makes you stronger and faster, but it gets rid of your emotions and your humanity, basically. And it makes it so you can live for like 300 years at least, also. But it gets rid of your ability to feel anything, which I believe that's what happened to the Dracos and why they don't really have emotion anymore. But this civilization had come across it, and they were wanting to study it. So we had to go to Mars to find it. And we went to Mars in 1840. Not in the modern era. I'm not entirely sure why we went back to the 1840s, but I'll be right back. Just 1 minute, guys.
That's fine,
Do
yeah.
you think that they went back in time for a certain reason? I kind of feel like they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Celeste, do you want to tell everybody about your dream real quick? Wow.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue because I went back in time last night, back into the medieval times, and I was telling Veronica, I'll even show a picture that I have. So I dreamt that I was putting on a crown, and there was a girl watching me, and she's just like, her eyes are wide, like, and I can feel from her saying like, "What are you doing?" And but I still put on the crown, and here's the picture. You guys can. Ooh, I guess they're not gonna want me to show it. See, they don't want me to show you this picture.
Let's see. Send it to me. See if that
Yeah.
Yes.
Take a picture of it and send it to Veronica.
see if I can do something there.
Yeah, I sent you through WhatsApp the picture. I said this was the crown, the exact one. So in the show called The Spanish Princess, Elizabeth of York has this certain gold crown, and each little pearl is like red, white, like the flag of England, which is red and white. It's white with a red cross, which is, I think it's supposed to be the cross of St. George. And so yeah, so in this dream, I'm putting on this crown, that exact crown, and this girl's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like I could just feel it from her. And Henry Cavill, the guy who plays Superman in the Superman movies, was also there, and I'm just putting on this crown, which I'm suspecting is the crown of England, and so I'm just wondering if that's my family's crown, the throne belongs to my family, and that I'm going to be crowning myself Queen of England, take out fucking bitch Charles. and take, because I just always see myself just going to war with these assholes, taking them out, walking up to the throne, and being crowned as Queen of England. And I feel like York is my home. York is my house, I should say, from the Plantagenets. Of course, I'm not going to say that this is my house, these are my family. I don't know, of course, my bloodline yet. But yeah, this was a dream that I had last night.
When you were saying York, I totally just had a vision of that actually being your name, and you know, saying your name. So I'm tending to believe you on this too. And the weird thing is that if you go back to like Nostradamus's prediction, and he talks about actually the queen dying, and he predicted it. September of 2022 was when she died, and he predicted it almost to the day. And then he said that that her son King Charles would he would hand over his throne to a person who was never expected to be like the ruling, you know, king or queen. So for you to say that just kind of gave me shivers, because I was thinking about what Nostradamus said, that there's someone who's going to be crowned that was never in line for it, or never expected to be crowned.
Right, because no one ever really thought that a king would be taking over a male, because, you know, pretty much England was ruled by women, by queens, you know. And then in that show, what is it, The White Princess? Because it's like a 3-part show. It's like the White Queen, the White Princess, and then the Spanish Princess about Catherine of Aragon. And in the White Princess, you know, the Dowager Queen Elizabeth, who is Elizabeth of York's mother, is writing to a guy named Francis Lowell, I believe, and she says, "A white rose of York will grace the throne of England once more." So that's, I feel like such, you know, I love white roses, and I love the medieval period. Like when it comes to shows like that, I'm so like focused. Anything else, like anything sci-fi, anything of space, I kind of get bored of. But when it comes to like the medieval period, the dark era, like all that, like I'm just so enthralled, and I'm like, I just pay more attention to that more than anything else. And then just having this dream last night, I was just like, what does it mean? You know, like, is my family really the real rulers of England? You know, are we really meant to be on this throne to free England, and then to free America, and then to free the rest of the world, and just let people be people? You know, like, why do we need kings and queens? You know, we just need people that just to help everybody. You know, if I'm to be a queen, I want to be a servant. I don't want people to serve me. I'm here to serve the people and help them before I leave this world.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yep, that's the way it should be.
You know, because that's what we're supposed to do. You know, as anyone as a leader, you're the last to eat. You're the last person behind your whole team. You know, you're there for your team. You're there for your people. You're there for your family. Like, it's not about you. It's about them. But most rulers and most leaders don't think that way. It's like, no, you're here for me and you're here to serve me. And it's like, no. It's the other way around. A real leader sacrifices themselves for their team or for their family or for their country. It's not about you. It's about them.
You're right. You're right. And I wish that there was a lot more people that thought like that. You know, we wouldn't be sitting where we are right now if we did, you know?
Yeah. Exactly, you know, and that's how everyone needs to think. Like, we're here to serve each other, we're here to help each other, we're here to be a family, a global family. But everyone wants to be about themselves, and, you know, what do you got to do to benefit me, and what can I get from you? And then once you give me what you got, then I'm out, and I'm just gonna leave you bloody and bruised, and I ain't gonna help you.
Yeah, like a lot of these SSP people, you know, they're over here thinking that there's money in this. And disclosure, they're thinking that there's fame. It's like, really? Do you just want to like worry about going to bed with everybody and, you know, exploiting everybody? And no,
Yeah.
you don't care.
Getting money? No.
You don't care about Mother Earth. You don't even care about, you know, us as your brothers and sisters, you know. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. But I'm in the front lines with you guys. We go arm in arm, and just like the leaders are supposed to go in the front lines, not in the back, sending all their soldiers. Anyway, John, we left off somewhere.
Yeah, I was waiting. I wanted to wait for you to get back because
Thank you.
this is something you'd probably be interested in. Is I was on Mars in the 1800s. And actually, can I share my screen? I have a picture.
If anybody can, let me make sure that anybody can. All participants. Okay, go for it.
Wait, where do I do it?
Bottom of your screen, it says share screen.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. There we go. Here. Can y'all see this picture?
Oh,
The
yeah.
dome? Yeah. That is basically what Mars looked like in the 1800s. Except I don't think there was that much greenery, but yeah. And
I
back in
drew
those,
that for an image regression for a session I did with someone who was in the SSP. I drew exactly what you're showing someone.
That's real right there. And what they're trying to do over there in Iran, Iraq, I think it's in Dubai. I'm being called to Dubai, but obviously I can't leave until we finish this war because I've been there anyway. I've been in Iraq, Iran, Dubai, and Afghanistan. But anyway, this here reminds me of those buildings that Celeste, I think you were the one that sent me that video. That it's like there's a bunch of like buildings that are going up, and it houses. They're the smart cities that I've been talking about, G Mafia, for a long time. They can house 1,000 people or more, and they're in these landlines, and they're going to start over there in, I believe it's in Iraq or Iran, one of those. And go ahead.
yeah, but anyways, I just remember being there in the 1840s on Mars in these places. It's kind of crazy to imagine that this technology existed back then, but it did. And I remember having to go out into the desert to find black goo samples, but I remember it was in those days it was mostly German speaking. And let's see. And it was like almost like steampunk technology. And like, but it was like the technology of the 1800s, but in space. And it's really hard to describe, but yeah. And back then, I think you actually had an easier time breathing on Mars than you do these days, which is odd, but yeah.
The air atmosphere in Mars reminds me, obviously it's just like Phoenix, and I talk about the Phoenix lights, but anyway, it reminds me of like Tennessee. When I went to Tennessee a few years ago, when I owned my own business, it's really hard to breathe there, but it's doable. It's just like by the third day, I think I got used to it over there. So it's kind of like that. Obviously you can breathe in Mars, but there are some places where you'll need the smart stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And there's I think you can actually also breathe on Callisto.
Yes, and there are some places in Uranus where you can breathe and it's habitable there. And
okay.
but there is also in Uranus, there's also a place where it's like acidic and it's like black and blue coming out of the ocean. But there's a cave here that I remember. But there is a place where humans can breathe on Uranus.
Yeah.
Jupiter, Saturn, you name it. Even Mercury. I just wanted to let you know real quick. Remember the book Isaac Asimov, the iRobot. They you know, there is a lot of disclosure. We talked about it before where
Yeah.
you have these AI bots that go and hunt for selenium. And then they have these AI that are in charge of the sun portal, the sun Stargate. And you know, anyway, I can go on and on about that, but go ahead, John. Yep.
Oh, she did?
Well, you know, the thing about that, John, is, oh, I had something to say and now I just totally went out of my head. Oh, crap. I should write this stuff down. But
She was talking about them
do you
mining
remember?
selenium or something.
No, I was like talking and I was on mute.
Ah.
And then when I unmuted myself to like say something, I was like going on and I'm like, oh wait, I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Oh, damn it.
But do you remember like a really vast ocean that was a very acidic? Like almost like I know they called it acid, an acid ocean, because it would eat through pretty much anything. But it was almost like a very acidic type ocean atmosphere.
It's crazy you say that because in those Evangelion movies and stuff, I don't know if John, if you've seen those, you know how the oceans are blood red because of the angels, but those aliens that come and attack Earth, and nothing can survive in the water at all, like any water, the ocean water, just because it's just so polluted. So when you said that, that's what came into my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, John got dropped off again. Well, the first time he had to go, but sometimes he gets booted out. Sometimes like when one of the times I was on with Chad, he got booted out. How many times? Like 5 times. But anyway, so you guys want to talk about Jupiter ascending, and then we'll wait for John to come up. Oh
Yeah.
okay, the full moon is tonight, guys. The full moon is tonight, and it's in Pisces and it's in Jupiter, and they say Jupiter is good luck. So.
Perfect.
Nice. And I was born. I was born under Jupiter, the planet Jupiter.
The rituals are tonight, guys. Whatever you want to manifest, you do your waters, right? I put out my water for 3 nights, 3 days, even though I don't believe in the moon because we know that there's weapons there directed at us. That's when we turn into werewolves. And I'm going to do a show, by the way, werewolves and vampires on the 27th. We're going to have Fire Horse. And if you guys want to come up, but anyway, I do my own thing and I drink my holy water. I talk to it. I don't even have to do the holy water, even just tap water. I know a lot of people don't like it because it has like the fluoride and crap, but we have been radiated. We have been given so many chemicals when we were in secret space. All right, the black goo, the pink goo, the red goo. Look at that movie Bloodshot. Like nothing can stop us, guys. Even our hearts, they try and constrict it with family issues, with whatever, and we bust out every time. They can't stop us. So anyway, I got off on a tangent. But yes, the moon is today. It's on Pisces and then Jupiter as well as a line. So go ahead, Eve. Sorry, you were saying something.
Today is not my day for remembering anything. I just forgot the second time I was going to say something. So it must be something that they must do to make us very confused and not like juggle our brains or something.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, you know, I've noticed a lot of people will say, oh, I'm getting old. What if I'm getting Alzheimer's? You guys stop confessing that shit. It's MK Ultra. It's all those things that they use through the Wi-Fi, even without the Wi-Fi. They have the moon, right? They have the cube. I see that they have the yellow cube in the moon, the black cube Saturn, and the blue cube that I've remote viewed is under Antarctica. So it's all connected to the Egyptian pyramids, you know, and they have, what do they do in the full moons? You know, things like that. But even Iris and I were talking, and we're going to do a show, I think next week. I'm not sure when, but we were talking about how when I had my awakening where the light came out of my heart and there was a very loud noise outside, boom, like, bah, like we thought what struck outside, and everybody went outside. There's nothing on the floor, nothing. We thought maybe an asteroid hit or whatever, but guess what I'm thinking now. In 2017, when I had my awakening, that was a lot of people had their awakening in 2017, and there was an actual um, asteroid, we'll say, that went all the way from Florida up, and then it made a curve and then down to California. I'll share it with you later, picture. But I'm thinking, what if that was the ship that we came in? What if we were, what if we came through? What if I'm the heart portal that y'all came through? Because I know we have the sun that is the portal, but I thought about it, you guys, and you know me, I'm always thinking. So that movie Manifest, okay, on Netflix, that's us. Okay, so what I see is a bunch of us come in ships, and we go. And that year there was an eclipse, so there's a reason why they have eclipses. Somehow we're the guardians of the galaxy, and we come in for such a time as this, and we sharpen each other's irons, and we're fighting. They're not gonna win, guys. Like Max said, we've already won. They're just trying with our family, with our friends. Even a friend of mine was saying they're messing around with my PayPal. One of my friends that does readings too, he's like, oh my gosh, they're hitting us left and right, but guess what? We win. So yeah, and so
No matter what they do, it's never. I've already seen it. I've seen the end. Whatever they do, it's never going to be good enough. We are going to ascend from 3D to 5D, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing that they can do to stop it. There's only two timelines that are the probable end, and neither one of them they win.
Like that guy was talking about in Carrie Cassidy about the what is it, project, the Looking Glass thing, and it's like it's that chess game. They're just trying to delay that chess game, but they know they've already lost. They see the checkmate, but they're just moving around their pieces, just bullshitting like but they know they lost. They're just trying. They're just stalling, but they lost. They've already lost. They already know.
Yeah.
But they're just trying everything they can to fucking throw all these wrenches at us. But it's just like, come on, bitch, keep throwing more at me. See what fucking happens.
We are the seeing eyeglass. Look at our eyes, bitches. Your future.
That's why they're fucking scared right now. That's why they keep doing what they're doing to Veronica. Or that's why they keep doing what they're doing to us. Because once we know who we are and what we are, and yeah, they're
what
fucked.
we're capable of, and
yeah, they're fucked.
For a lot of us, we're limitless. That there's no end to our abilities and to our powers, and they know that.
Yeah.
So that's why they keep throwing what they're throwing just to distract us. They bring this guy or this girl or whatever, and it's just like, what? You just gotta move them all out the way and just be like, nah, bitch, I'm laser focused on my fucking mission, and I'm coming for you, motherfuckers.
I want to talk about that. You know how I say about the CIA love bites, and they recently tried to send one to you.
Yeah, at work, this fucking kid, man. Of course, not even my type. Nothing having what I want, and it's just like I just shut it down right then and there. At work, I made a statement, and yeah, right then and there, he didn't even talk to me. He didn't even look at me throughout the whole shift. So yeah, I had to reclaim my power.
Following you around and stuff like that.
Yeah, following me around with my job and shit, and it's just like, okay, if you're gonna send me someone, send me my type. This motherfucker ain't even my type. It's like he's fucking ugly. How do you expect me to be like, when you're ugly?
No, but I'm telling you, the love is a spell. That's why they call it love spell. If it is not true, unconditional love of a true twin flame or twin soul, you will get all googly eye. Oh my gosh. And then, the movies in the love scene, every time they kiss or whatever, or the songs that come up on the radio. Oh, I miss this person. Why? Why do you miss that person?
Like that show Once Upon a Time, like the whole true love thing, fucking Snow White and Prince Charming, and then they make their daughter Emma, who is a product of true love, and now she's the savior, and blah blah blah, and blue blue blue, and that's where they want to keep people stuck. Like, I need to find my Prince Charming or my Snow White so we can make this child of love, and blah blah blah, and it's just
we are already child of love, my own love. I was not created. Everybody says God created me. Well, guess what? God did not create me. I am. We are, before the beginning and before the end. We are eternals, guys. The gods here, they're dead. Right, Celeste?
Yeah, the gods are dead.
Babylon, right? We're living in Babylon. I know there's a creator, okay? But I just think that, to me, we're the crystalline beings that come together, unite, and then we have our bloodline all together, and then these aliens and these government people try and come and use us because we have abilities that they don't. But they could have made our bodies or whatever, but us, the true bioluminescence that is our spirit, that lives in our spirit, you can think about it like as fairy dust. If people don't understand why, when I talk about bioluminescence, stars are made out of bioluminescence, okay? We don't sleep at night because we shine at night. We sleep during the day.
Yes.
Mine asteroids, they mine planets, they mine the stars. Even in I think we've talked about it many times in the movie, in the thingy called in space, where they're mining the asteroids. Oh shoot, I'll remember right now. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah, that was one
What
of my first
What happened to
regressions.
John?
He's faxing me right now.
Okay. I just noticed he wasn't there. Okay.
One of my first regressions was mining an asteroid.
Say again?
I said one of my first regression therapies before I realized, before I got some of my memories and realized that I was in this program, this specific program. I had a regression therapy session, and I was on an asteroid, and I was mining it, or not. I wasn't mining it. I don't know if I was like running security or what I was doing, but that's where I was. I was on an asteroid.
Hmm.
Well, crazy.
Yeah, I do.
There's so much stuff, and it's coming out now, and I find these articles and I forward them or I share them on Instagram, and like some of them they talk about super soldiers. China is getting super soldiers. Ukraine already has developed super soldiers, and they are and they're scaring their own people because they said that they're really strong, they're really big, and they're terrified, and this is stuff that we've all been talking about for years, and people have said nothing good, called us names, and finally the truth is coming out, and where are those people now?
Right.
Like I'd really like to say for someone, that for some of us that they actually call us crazy, and they do. We've been called many, many, many things. This is something that we've had memories of since we were kids, and we never said nothing.
But soon enough they're going to be calling us heroes and saviors and all those once we go to war.
Superheroes.
Yeah, soon enough they're going to be like, oh, these crazy people were right the entire time, and I'm like, yeah, we're here saving your asses so you can continue living your little lives in comfort. And it's just, it's just, and I'm not here to be worshipped. I'm not here for none of that. I'm just here to save the kids, the animals, the planet, and then go home. I'm just here to fulfill my mission, and that's it.
I know my father, he's actually on a mothership. The ship's been following him and I since as long as he's been around. He worked in many programs in the military, and it got passed down to me, that I was to kind of take over, whatever mission that he had, that he wasn't able to finish. So, and it was really weird though, when I came here and when he passed on, it was kind of like, it was like I almost had to like hurry. There's something, and there's so many people that are saying this, but there's something that's going to happen. And it's like I'm here, specifically where I am for a very reason that I'm, putting together something, and I just don't know what it is. It drives me nuts thinking about this all the time.
It's funny you say that because I know my real father is actually my uncle, and in Spanish, Carlos is Charles, and then there's King Charles right now of England. So I know I don't come from my sibling's father, because I wouldn't be the scared little bitch that I am right now, because that's what he was. And my uncle, who's really my dad, he's not scared of shit, you know? And it's just crazy that his name Carlos is Charles, and then here we have a Charles on the throne of England. And then I had this dream last night of me crowning myself as the Queen of England.
Well, now I can say I knew her when. Oh, I'll just talk to the queen. But you know what? I think the thing is that it's going to come out that there's going to be a lot more royalty than what they expect.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've had, even Veronica and I, after watching, I don't know if she wants to talk about that movie, but I just talked to John last night, and he was watching it. It was the Jupiter Ascending.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that movie triggered that out of me so bad.
I still haven't seen that movie yet, dude.
Dude, you have to see that movie. I swear to God that they just decided, hey, we're gonna do disclosure. And the one thing that I have memory of is that Mila Kunis was an actress off planet as well. I think it was a clone of hers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the clone is the one that's off planet as an actress, or if the clone is here on Earth as an actress. But she has a clone that also acts. So I don't know if that's even her that's on the screen. What if it's her clone?
Dude, and then when I was a kid, when Sailor Moon first came out, Sailor Jupiter was my girl, dude. Like, I loved her for some reason. Even as a kid, I just resonated with her so much because she was just like very strong and sure of herself and independent. But even though she wanted to be loved and wanted, a man to love her, and she was just such a hopeless romantic. And I'm like, dude, that's me. I'm her. Her and Mars, like, they were the two Sailor Scouts that I resonated with the most. And I told Veronica I was born under Jupiter and Mars. Those are the moons I was born under.
That's crazy.
So I feel like I'm both of them girls, just very fiery and I just fly off the handle, but then I also want to save everyone and protect everyone. And that's how Jupiter is in Sailor Moon. She's the protector, and she's so loving, and, she loves to cook. I love to cook. And just more and more when I think about this, I'm like, I'm probably these two girls, I'm Jupiter and I'm Mars, I'm Aries, I'm Jupiter, and I'm just meant to war, and I'm meant to help rule and then free people and then just go home and let someone else take over,
I know the one thing that John and I have in common is that I was also had reptilian, my father is a draconian warrior, and actually had like someone who is very psychic that I trust completely. Two people that are very psychic in different ways, but actually one of them was able to like contact him like right after he died and everything, and talk to him, and he was here with me, and I seen him. I like opened the bathroom door, and there was like a pair of khaki pants. Obviously some legs were in it, but when I went, you kind of look up real quick, and by the time I looked up, he wasn't there, and neither were the khaki pants. And my daughter was so shocked. She was there when he passed away, and she said, Mom, he was wearing khaki pants.
Wow.
When he passed away. So, and I asked him, because he was in hospice care, so, and they were giving him morphine, and he was sleeping, and I don't think he was, I think he was like, by that point he was out of his body. I've come to research this, that the closest you get to your time, it's like your soul knows, and to prevent you from feeling that pain of having your soul ripped from your body, because it's very painful. Because they do that fragmenting, that soul stripping. I sent something to Veronica. There was like numerous bases, and which, the nefarious things that these bases do, that are all over the United States, not all over the United States, but all over the world as well.
And the galaxy.
Right, and the galaxy. But here on the planet, there's just so much going on that the public doesn't know. And that's one of the reasons why we do these shows, is that we want people to understand that, that what's exactly going on, because we need to stop it. We need to stop these people.
Mhm.
There's only 2% of them, and 98% is way more. All we have to do is stand up and end the game. That's all we have to do. End game right there.
And one thing people need to stop calling them is elite, because there's nothing elite about them. We're the elite. Everyone on this earth, like you said, that 99% or 90%, we're the elite. They're not. There's nothing elite about them. What's elite about them? That's what I want to know. Why do you keep
Yeah.
calling them the elite? What's so elite about them? They're pedophiles. They're satanic. They're pieces of shit. They're parasites. There's nothing elite about that.
They
Nothing.
build their fortune off the misery of others.
And
Exactly. Like misery loves company, so that we're their company. They're making us miserable. I'm not going to be their company, and I'm not going to allow the children, the animals, the elderly, this whole earth. I'm not going to allow them to become their fucking miserable company.
that's
I
what
refuse.
us to forget, you guys. That's why they wanted us to forget our memories. John is back. Yay!
Yeah, Jan.
Going down.
Sorry. Hi, I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry, dude. Don't
Full
be.
disclosure, there is a family member in the hospital right now, so like things are kind of crazy. Like, yeah,
Do what you got to do, man. We're here for you.
I know. Thank you.
Sending her
That means a lot.
Yeah, we're sending you love, we're sending you light, protection, everything that you need, man. Because they're just trying to destroy us, and they're trying to distract us, and they're just trying to do everything they can to veer us off our path. And it's just like, I'm still gonna take care of this, but I'm coming back to you. So don't fucking worry. I haven't forgot about you, bitch.
Okay. So
Yeah. Oh, go
there's
ahead.
a
Go ahead.
plane going over me right now.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
Yeah.
They just like fucking with everybody, man. It's just like, okay, if you're gonna fuck with me, I'm gonna fuck with you, but big time.
I have an informant who told me that a certain agency that we talked about coming on the show is flying around and trying to get certain individuals, and some of those are innocent. They just want to wash their hands off because they made a mistake. I'll be right back. Go ahead, John.
The whole
Okay,
scapegoat thing.
I was gonna, right before I had to go, I was gonna talk about Mercury. Because Veronica mentioned Mercury and how they would mine selenium there. And like, I do remember a lot of mining happening there. I also remember it's actually an artificial planet. Like much like our moon.
Which
It's
planet? I'm sorry.
Mercury.
Mercury.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, they have ships that actually, orbit the sun that can put up with that much heat, and I know that that they have bases on life, on Venus.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I had an idea on my next show. We should like go through like every planet and major moon in the solar system, like one by one, because like I have memories for most of them. So, and I know, I think you do, Eve, and I know Veronica does. So like we could do that. But that would be interesting. But yeah, there is mining on Mercury. There's a lot of prisons there. And it's one of the main hubs of the slave trade.
Hey, John, so I have two dreams about, I think, the moon and Mars. So when you have time, I want to talk to you about those, and I
Go
want you to
ahead.
let me know if whatever. Okay, so the first one was, I believe I was on Mars, and I was with, I think, two or three other ladies, and we were watching like really old school movies, like I want to say about 70s or 80s, and on the old TVs that you gotta like turn, and we're
Yeah.
watching movies, and we're like putting on, we're like girls like looking at clothes, and we're like trying on clothes, and then this guy that I used to work for, they used his image, and so he comes in, and we all just stopped, and we were just like, ugh. And then cut to scene. It's him with Max Spears, and Max is just laying there like he's dead, and he's doing something very gross to him. Like I'm gonna say it, they're 69ing, but like I said, Max is just out like he's dead. And then he gets like the guy like, he's doing whatever he is to Max, and then he looks up at me and he just gives me this disgusting smile. And I had a feeling like this guy was a devil or something. And so, but the light that was coming in through the window looked like very bright orange, like when the sun's hitting, like the earth, you can see it's bright yellow, so you're on Earth, but it just was very orange, like as if I was on Mars, but I wasn't able to see outside. It just seemed like I was just in this little apartment with these two other girls.
Okay, wait, stop right there. Did he have like a black beard, kind of like, and then patillas black and then black?
No, he looks like this old boss that I worked with when I was living back in Phoenix. He was, shaven. He was a white guy with like clear blue eyes. And this guy was just a piece of shit, man. This guy that we worked for, his name was Caleb Miller? No, that was the other one. Caleb Watson? No. He was Caleb Miller or Caleb Watson. But they were using his image because this guy was a piece of shit. Because he would walk into our work and say shit like, the white man's here, and he would call us Mondays, which was his word for the N-word.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this guy was a piece of crap. This guy was a complete piece of crap. But for some reason, he loved me, though. Like, everyone else, he was a piece of crap, too. But to me, he was so sweet, and he was just so loving towards me.
Huh.
And then this other dream, it was dark. The sky was dark, but I could tell Earth wasn't too far from me because the way it was shining off, like it was a very silvery light. And I was with this guy that was about, I want to say 6'7". He was very tall, and he was like in a black police uniform, but with no emblems or nothing. And then he had a helmet on that looked kind of like this, like that T, like I want to say Metroid Prime or Battlestar Galactica.
Lunar.
Yeah, so yeah, he looked like that. But like I said, he was just like a police uniform, but it was just plain. There was nothing on it in that helmet. And we look at each other, and he says to me, "Where are we?" And then I looked, and it went, "Look." And so it was like these tall, like, what do you want? Like, they look like they were made of steel, like metal. Like, they were very tall, these two. And then we look off to the right, and then it was like this gigantic, it was like a thing. I called it a gyroscope. And it was like going around, like it was going like, and it was on these big wheels, and then all of a sudden I'm inside of it, and I'm kind of like stumbling around in it, and I kind of crashed into this woman, but we knew each other for some reason. And then I'm in like a restaurant type setting, but like the back, like where all the people would be working, and I'm talking to this really short lady, but she's kind of like a ball buster type chick. And then I was telling Veronica, there was a black girl just sitting there, and she was like dressed like a busboy, and there's all the dishes behind her. And so the whole time, she's talking to me, this lady, like she's like kind of training me like I'm supposed to be a supervisor. And so I look at this girl, and she looks at her, and she's like, "Hey, get back to work." But she still sits there. And then I look at her, and I kind of motion with my head like, "Hey, go home." And then telepathically she tells me, "I'm stuck here. I can't even go home. There's no way I can go home. I'm just stuck here." And then I was telling Veronica, then it looked like it was like a mall setting, but it was also Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix. And I'm trying to get out of there. And then I'm in an elevator, and I hit the wrong button, and I go up instead of down. And I'm with my younger sister when we finally get to the bottom, and I have her, and I'm like, "We got to get to my car," because now we're at the JP Morgan, like where they do the USCIS like immigration stuff, because I used to work there. And so I grab her, I'm like, "We need to get to my car." And as soon as I touch my car, then that's when I woke up. And then like I was like, "What the fuck is all this shit?" So I don't know if it was a dream, or maybe it was a memory, or maybe I was somewhere.
It's like
your description of the police uniform was spot on. I remember the lunar police.
Okay.
They did not like me. But I remember the police on the moon, and they're the only people allowed to carry guns on the moon. I mean, other people do it anyway, but
Right.
they're the only ones who are allowed to, I think.
So do you think that guy I was with that was in that police uniform with that helmet, he was part of it, but he didn't know that he was part of the lunar police? Because he was just like, "Where are we?" He was confused himself until I pointed to that thing that was going around in like a square pattern, like it just kept going around like that.
It's possible. I mean, they mind wipe you while you're there too, all the time. Like, it's not just while you're here that they do that. So,
Because I've
or
dreamt
it
about
could,
this place like at least twice, you know? So I'm like, dude, this place has got to be real. And if I keep dreaming about it.
yeah, I had that. This was another thing in Jupiter Ascending, but near the beginning they show that futuristic city,
Hmm.
and I've been there. I know what planet that's on actually, but it's called. It's on a planet called Typhon, Typhon. But
Okay.
like, but
That
like,
planet, John, it's so familiar. That I
Yeah. Even when you said Typhon, it was almost like I knew you were gonna say that, like probably a millisecond before you said it.
yeah,
okay.
there's a lot of academic stuff there, and I do remember there were like some very wealthy people there, just like in that movie. And but yeah, I it is possible he was in the lunar police. It's also possible he may have just been abducted alongside you, and
Okay.
so that might also explain why he didn't know where he was at first.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Okay. Because yeah, he was so confused. He was just like, "Where the fuck are we?" And I'm just like, and it felt like the moon because, like I said, the light that was shining was such a silvery white light, and then it was just so dark, like the background, like the sky was just black, and it just like yeah, it just felt like I was on the moon.
yeah.
And I've been there twice,
Hmm.
and again, it's always that same setting. Like I'm in, like I'm a supervisor being trained, and I'm like in the back area with all the other people like in the offices and stuff like that. So I'm like, I
Yeah,
wonder if I'm a supervisor or a manager somewhere else, you know?
yeah. Oh, Eve, I love your necklace.
I know
Thank
Uh,
she looks like a native princess right now.
yeah, you do.
I love it.
Thank you. I think I got it at a thrift store. It has matching earrings, but I already had different earrings in, so I didn't bother changing them. But
Is it
yes.
turquoise?
What's that? No,
Is
it's
it,
beads actually,
oh,
turquoise
okay.
beads. But it
Turquoise.
does it does. I have another one too that I got. I was
Oh.
admiring it on a lady, and she's like, I was getting ready to leave somewhere. I was there for like a week or so, and when I was leaving, she came up and she's like, "Oh, here's that jacket." She goes, "That extra jacket that it's getting cold," and she handed me the jacket, and I put it on. And I put my hands in there, and there was that necklace, and I still have it. So
Oh.
I find it wearing it on a neck show or something.
Turquoise is my birthstone.
Really, turquoise
Mhm.
means a lot to me. Being Native American, turquoise is very
I love
powerful.
turquoise. So pretty.
Mm,
I have
It's my
a
favorite color, actually. So yeah,
it's what my name means in Spanish. Well, like sky blue, color celeste, like the sky. So it makes a lot of sense why I love the color blue.
I always
yeah,
like the color green of my skin that I
Mhm.
remember having, as well, I remember her name as being Amora, but in the movie they call her Gamora, but her her color of skin still is my like favorite color.
Mhm.
Green is my favorite color.
Yeah, I see you as Gamora, dude. You're her.
yeah. I do too. Like
Mm.
I think you even described some of the stuff she did in real life, and like it was similar. Like how she was a pilot, or like and like she liked to use swords and stuff. Like
Yeah, I've never really cared for guns, but give me a knife, I feel so comfortable. And I was talking to someone recently and I said, actually getting into a fight with someone with a knife is way more personal than a gun, because you can shoot somebody from very far away, but with a knife, you have to be hand to hand, and
Mhm.
it just seems, it's more personal to me.
You have to be
Um,
strategic with a knife,
yeah,
hand-to-hand combat versus a gun.
right. Like what's going to happen when I run out of ammo, or it's done if it's not a weapon that uses an actual explosion, and it's done. What do I do?
Right?
But with a knife, it's always there. I don't know.
Yep. I'm waiting for my short sword to come in. I've been waiting quite some time.
I know I was able to get, I have a practice katana, and I'm just like waiting for a sign for the right instructor to be able to teach me something that I already know, because I've had memories as one of my altars, and I've been writing it down, and once I do, then I'll share it. But you know, I have like 60 some plus altars, so it's hard for me to try and remember every single one of them. But I've started to write down.
How's that list coming, Eve?
I haven't touched it since last weekend. I've been working my butt off. I swear, every single day. So I just got off work. So I mean, I just quick ate something and got ready and came online. But yeah, I'm crazy. I actually have tomorrow off, so it's going to be nice to try and sleep in. I'll be up at 7. That's sleeping in for me.
Being here. I also have family. They just left. Oh my gosh, Kiki wants to go outside, but I'm here. Okay, keep going.
No, I'm even looking to buy an actual real wooden recurve bow, because because Veronica even told me, she's like, you remind me of Artemis, you know, the goddess of the hunt and archery and all that. And
yeah, you do.
And when I first did archery,
to place it.
I love archery, man. Like I'm trying to get a bow. I need my arrows. Like I feel like that's an extension of me. That knives, swords, like just all that hand-to-hand stuff. Because I know I come from the medieval period, and that's where I'm from. You know, I like, yeah, guns are cool. They're fun to shoot, but I mean, like Eve said, there's nothing more personal than having like a hand weapon or something. You know, just an extension of yourself.
Yeah, my specialty from my altars is like improvised stuff. So like I don't have a gun, but I do have access to a lot of axes and hammers, because my grandfather has a lot of those. So if shit hits the fan, like I'll be all right.
Yeah, same here. That's what I'm trying to collect, like knives and bows, arrows, just hand weapons. So yeah, because when they take our guns and all that away, like what else are we gonna have versus just our own fists? But most people won't go and fight. They're just gonna be too scared and depend on other people to fight for them. So it's like, all right, well.
Think about it, Celeste. Like back in medieval times, what did the people, when they wanted to fight, what did they have? You remember?
Yeah, they had their pitches, their forks. Like all the farmers, they had all their farming tools.
Right. Yep, that's exactly correct.
So
and
like
that's
when a lord,
I see those times coming back again. That
Same,
people are going
same.
to have different weapons instead of guns.
Well, in the Philippines, in the late 1800s, they owned the Spanish colonists with tree branches that they'd cut. Literally, they cut sticks.
Cut a switch and just.
Yeah, and they absolutely kicked the Spanish's asses. Like,
Right, with something so simple, just a switch from a tree. Who would have thought, you know? But it's like, you know what? You come at them with all your all. That weapon is going to be more than just a tree branch. That's going to be a sword. That's going to be a spear. That's going to be a knife.
Yeah.
It's how you wield it and what you put behind that weapon or whatever you got in your hand. You know, and people forget that you have so much power that you can turn a piece of wood into a friggin' sword. You could turn that into anything. You know, it's just you have to own your power, and people are just giving it up. You know, give me my shots, give me my Chick-fil-A, give me my Netflix. And that's what they want. They want
my next iPhone.
Yeah, give me my iPhone, give me my whatever, you know. That's why men nowadays are just so overweight now and so soft, and they can't even perform, and they can't even be a man anymore. And that's nothing against men, but you know, it's just like, what happened to men? What happened to women? You know, now they're all just like, you're such a bully, you can't be saying things like that to me. It's like, don't be a little bitch. Just take it. It'll toughen you up.
You shared that documentary with me that I haven't watched yet, but you were saying that this lady had a chip and that they stole everything and that everybody just wants to be like the Kardashians and get their chips. But can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so I was watching it was like a 13-minute video that this guy did, and so this girl, she calls herself the Chip Girl. She lives in Las Vegas, And so she got the RIDF chip in her hand, and so she's showing on TikTok how she can open everything in her house. And I'm like, people who have seen that Black Mirror episode where this girl was talking about, or this woman, so she's at like a what is it, at a dinner at some people's house. It's like a lot of people, and so she's talking about how hers got cut out of her. Like she got attacked by these people who are paid by rich people. So she was attacked. Her thing got cut out, but she was talking about how free she felt now that she didn't have it in her right here or whatever it is, because you can record everything. And so someone asked her like, well, who do you think did it? And she's like, oh, probably some perverted rich Chinese guy that just wanted to watch me like, either have sex or masturbate or whatever. And so this chick in Las Vegas, so she's showing off that she can open everything in her house. And I'm like, she's just asking to get murdered and get that thing taken out of her. And, she's just so proud that she has this thing inside her. And I'm just like,
well, that's
people
I
the smart.
that's
Go ahead, John.
Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about Black Mirror.
Yes,
Mhm.
please do so. Yes, I only saw like maybe one episode or two. Go ahead, John.
That's disclosure of the breakaway civilization.
Yep.
Fully.
Yep. I
Like
watched it all.
everything they show in that show is happening on another planet
Yes,
somewhere in a colony.
there's a reason why
Like
mirrors.
what?
Mhm.
There's a reason why.
Why do we have mirrors? Those of us that know how to use them. That's
Yeah.
our yes, baby.
Mhm.
We don't need no mirrors. We got our eyes, we got our heart space, right? Our mind, our eye open. And then they tip our behind our pineal gland. I'm like, oh hell no, I do not consent. Because they want to see everything in our left eye. We have the sharpshooter eye on our left, most of us. Those glasses, they already exist. But go ahead, I went off on a tangent.
I didn't know that. That explains why my left eye is so much better than my right one. I didn't know that.
Same here, dude. Why? I'm like, because they tell me I have astigmatism in the right,
Hey, chat.
but I can see better with the left than I can with my right.
Are you serious? Yeah, me too. I know. This is the weird thing. I was in a relationship and my husband was very abusive, and he would punch me, and he would always punch me on the side of my face, my left side, and in my temple and everything. And I went in, I was having like headaches, and I went into the doctor, and the eye doctor, and he said, your retina is like almost detached. If you get hit one more time, it's going to detach, and and then surgery is not going to be able to correct it. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? So I was like, ended that marriage and got away, and everything was good. Well, I went back in because I needed my a new prescription for my glasses and my contacts. And I said, so how is my retina? And they're like, excuse me? And I said, well, I explained the whole thing to them, and they're like, they looked again, they're like, there's nothing wrong with it. So it like healed itself within 6 months.
Our bodies can just heal themselves, man.
Thanks for saying that, because I went in for an MRI for my brain. This was in 2016. And the guy there, he was a tall white guy, older man, said,
Of course.
there's something in it. Looks, well, what's wrong? Is it a tumor? And he says, I can't tell you. I went to the doctor. Oh, there's nothing there. What is it then? Probably our crystal. My purple crystal, bitches.
Right.
my looking glass,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had one of those in the programs. I mean, I probably still do, but like, I remember that thing where when I was communicating interspecies, they wanted to monitor that. So that I had one of those, and it was over my third eye. Oh, Chad is here.
Chad.
I mean, hooray for Chad. Glad you made it. How's it going, Chad?
I am at work though, so I'm on mute, or I have you guys on mute and no video. Is that all right?
That's all good, buddy.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Just glad you're here, man.
Thank you. I need some love today, so I'm just happy to be here, just sort of in the sidelines, maybe.
Have you watched any of those movies, Chad?
We love you, Chad.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to. I thought about it. They've messed with my schedule a little bit. I'm doing
Of course.
10 days straight at work. And
Oh, hell
the
no.
the issue I had too is like they gave me 3 days off last week and the week before, and I feel like summer's running out. The snow's going to be on the mountaintop, so I've been up there like hiking avidly, all over they had the Rubicon Trail or this place called Silver Fork. It's just beautiful beautiful spaces up in the Sierras, but they're all part of that Tartaria. I'm looking at all the granite and seeing how it's melted or what's going on with it and what sort of formations I can kind of find hidden in it. And then it's all telling me a little bit of a story. So I'm just trying to get up there as much as I can the last 2 weeks. And then they booked me these 10 days, but I am going to watch the movie.
Land is
So
rising.
that we can talk about that.
Land is rising, Chad, and it's Atlantis coming up, babe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you're out there, man. You're scouting. You're figuring things out. So.
I think so. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Do
so.
what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do.
I understand. What's kind of weird though is like I don't know if it's something that we all do, but I watched that 411 missing 411, and there's a lot of people that go missing around Granite Rock up in those mountains. And then and I was watching Ryushin Malone. He played a video today of a alien that was caught by this one guy. They have video footage of it, and it's pretty creepy. They show it ship out in the woods, and it's one of the ones that attack people. I'm pretty sure it's one of the ones they have kind of nailed down to being the ones that adrenochrome, that thing, like to do things to our blood and stuff.
Well, there's more than one of those, but
okay, I agree with you. But why is it that I go walking through these areas? And I can sense it around me a little bit, but I let them know, like, bring it on. Here I am. I'm coming, ready or not. Do you guys have that fear, or do you think I'm just being a little gullible, or I don't know?
No, I'm the same way when I'm in the woods too. Like, I don't know if you heard about the stairs that just show up out of nowhere in the middle of the woods. I don't know if anyone's heard about that. Okay, yeah.
I saw something about that. That was freaky.
Yeah,
all right.
You're not supposed to mess with them because so there's stories about people like the rangers. They tell like volunteers or people who have just started being a ranger, don't fuck with those stairs because when they're looking for missing people and you fuck around with that, then they can't find these people now.
They can take you because stairs go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
Or off planet.
Or off planet, or just somewhere, Some guy said someone said that when they went on the stairs and then they stuck their hand out, that their hand got cut off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're like, if you ever seen some stairs in the woods, just leave them alone. Just keep walking.
Yeah, they say, if you see pretty orbs too, don't go like treating them like pretty little birds.
Right, just run away.
They'll evaporate your dog. I've heard.
Yeah.
It's just got to be careful.
Yeah, you just got to run or just walk the other way. Just be like, all right, I'm not going to bother with you. Don't bother with me. I'm just going to go this way.
The thing I tell them though is like, if you want to bring my firewalls down, bring it. I'm right here. Just, you're going to scare the shit out of me and let's see what happens.
Right. Because at this point you're like, what?
I'm not running.
So now at this point you're just like, what can you do to me that already hasn't been done to me?
Yeah. And I see all the signs of the Sasquatch everywhere I'm walking. I'm seeing all the pushed over trees, the bent over trees, all the markings, all those things that while I'm up there. But I don't know. And then lately I've been going without my pup because she's getting a little older and I'm out there by myself. And I used to think it was because I had to protect her why I was so brave. But now I've realized I think we just have an energy in us that tells us, please don't fuck with us. We're not like the others. But then I hope we're not the ones they're hunting too. That's what I'm like. Maybe I'm being a little naive here, but yeah, I think there's a lot to observe in the woods and be careful and cautious about. For sure.
I recently, in my town, I found signs of a dumb, and it was so weird.
Yeah.
Like I live on the coast, so there are no basements.
There's one here too. We have one here.
Yeah, but I was at the hospital recently, and the hospital parking garage, it continues going underground. You can see there's several levels underground.
Okay.
And they're all locked off to the rest of everyone. And this hospital is right on the waterfront, so it shouldn't even be possible for anything to go underground.
Right.
But yeah,
And they pay attention to this when you start tuning into that stuff. I started like scoping my town out a little bit too, and I'm noticing like buildings that don't belong that are there. And there's this even one door, and it had all the handprints, all the little kitty handprints, different colors all over it with hearts on it in their palms. And it was for an agency of for missing kids, that sort of thing, or abused kids. It was, helping them. And I know what those handprints mean. So, so I took pictures of the door, right? I took pictures of that door and the address, and I looked at it. That agency was outside my store where I'm at right now working, collecting donations a week later. And they walked up to me when I was walking in. I said, "Don't even speak to me. Don't even look at me. I'm not interested. Thank you. I don't talk to you people." And I walked right past them. Sorry, I'm with them, with kids, anything like that, it bugs me. I know they send the human shield, and I'm talking to the human shield, but still, don't, just stay away from me. I went back there this month, this week. It was about a month ago or 2 months ago that this had happened. And I went back this week downtown, looking at the buildings and filming, and they'd taken all those handprints off of the doors. So I thought that was interesting. You wonder, is that a coincidence, or am I, or...
Go chat.
Yeah. So yeah, there's things going on in our towns, and it's important that we start learning to recognize those things, and maybe even investigating a little bit if you feel safe enough to, because I don't think it's a safe world to go poking your nose into, but follow your intuition there.
John, are you there?
yeah.
Let's go back to the Black Mirror thing. Or
Oh,
yeah.
Black Mirror, just everything there is about life in the breakaway, essentially. I remember there are people out there in the breakaway who have those chips in them. I think they talked about in an episode how, like, because anything can be faked, you can steal whatever you want. That's a thing in space, because, like, they have genetic manipulation stuff. So basically, the only way to get convicted of a crime out there is to be caught red-handed. It's wild, but yeah. And
well, we were used in I know I was used a year and 8 months, and then they put me in a little dish under the water, and I was able to breathe, and I was able to go through the wormholes for them. They wanted us to get things for them. And yes, there are things that disappear here. I still haven't found my selenium ball. It's been missing since July. And I always command them. I'm like, you gremlins that Max Spears talks about, give me back my stuff. I don't, you take it. So, yeah.
I had a book that was very dear to me that just disappeared one day. And I was like, I don't even know what. I mean, I guess maybe it would be worth a lot on the black market out there, because it was a very pretty book with, like, painting illustrations and stuff, but it was like, they probably also did it to mess with me, because that was one of the last things that my mother bought me before she died. So they knew I would be upset about that. Like, yeah.
I know. I think I misplaced things, but this one time I think it was my house. I had lost my keys, and I tore the whole house apart. I threw the kids out, go play outside, and then I locked the doors so nobody was in. And I cleaned everything. I remember cleaning the kitchen table off and wiping it down. And then I walked in the kitchen, checked on the kids. They were outside playing. My husband was with them. Everything was cool. I walked back out of the kitchen into the dining room, and my keys were sitting there right on the table. I was like, there was no way possible that I cleaned that table off and cleaned around the keys looking for the keys. There's just no way. So, yeah, I definitely think there's something at play.
Yeah.
And another thing, I think sometimes when we have our altars,
Hmm.
I always have to tell myself, okay, which altar? Okay, and then I have to go into my mind's eye and say, okay, remote view everything. And it's right there in front of me.
Right.
Like Chad was talking about one time, he was saying something about looking for the ketchup bottle. Yeah, it was just right there. I don't know if Chad's, but
Oh, I'm here. Yeah, I was saying about the ketchup bottle. I feel like it's a side effect from what they did to us because of the tunnel. I don't know, like there's a reason for it, but the ketchup bottle is in front, right in front of my face. And that might be why you didn't see the keys, because you're looking in your peripheral all around, but it's the thing right in front that you don't see. I feel like I'm always blind to that. I have a hard time with finding objects and certain things. Like if I'm looking for keys in my place, it can be sitting right there, and I'll walk right past it because my eyes won't see it. It's got to catch my peripherals.
No, I wiped the whole table down. I cleaned the table off, wiped it with a cloth, the whole table. And there was
Okay.
no.
You're like, I would have heard
I
those
hear you.
keys fall if I hit them.
Yeah, there's no way I would have just. I'm an OCD person, so I don't miss spots. If I would have just went around an
Yeah.
area where the keys were, then I would have
Right,
been
you're
like,
like
you know
laser
what, the keys
focused.
were
You're
there
like,
the whole time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I know they weren't there.
it happened with a battery of mine for like my LED hoop, and it was in my pocket, and all of a sudden it just went missing. So I tore the friggin' this closet, and I was like, I know I didn't friggin' drop it. I know I put it right here. Why is it missing? And I still haven't found it till this day. So I'm like, I don't know if they took it. It was just a battery just for a LED hula hoop.
Yeah.
not,
You
I'm
know
like, what do you
I,
want with that?
not
I do accuse one of my altars. I do feel like I have one. I've confronted them. I said, who is it in me right now who is hiding my stuff? Because they'll draw a blank in my mind, and I'll set it down and I won't remember. And I said, I just had it. Where is it? And I'll start commanding. I'm like, wait a minute, no, you ain't playing this game. So I've tried to repurpose him. I've tried to get to know him, but he's silent, quiet, invisible, and I don't detect him. It just happens. Like when I'm
a mischievous little bastard.
Oh yeah. And it's cute the first time you leave your keys behind, but like the 15th time it becomes obnoxious, and you just have to let them know, like, this has got to change.
They're like, yo, bro, no, not right
Yeah.
now.
It won't happen if you're being mindful and centered. It always happens when you're drifting away, but there is something in you that's hiding something in me that's hiding my stuff. Like I confront them.
Right.
and they have the baby gremlin. And then once they throw water at it, all these gremlins come out. And the scene of the gremlin in the freaking microwave, to this, like, I was a kid when I watched that, and Max says that those beings look like the gremlins that try and take stuff.
Yeah. I actually kind of need to go in just a minute, but first, Vero, did you hear my idea for the next show?
Go ahead and tell me.
I had this kind of idea. We could go through each planet in the solar system, like one by one, because like I have memories of, I think, all of them. So that would be interesting to people, I think. Like,
What a great idea.
okay.
The 27th, talking about the werewolves and vampires. That's where the werewolf program started, because that's where the beings are. And I talked about it before, how Disney has the thing of Pluto. His name is Pluto, the dog. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. John, anything you want to say before you have to go?
No, it was good being on here. Uh, again, um, I'm sorry we didn't get to go through those pictures, but we'll do that another time. But like next time we'll go through the planets in the solar system because like that's I'm getting more and more memory of that like almost every day now. So yeah,
Awesome. Thank you, John.
you're welcome. I'll see y'all soon.
Thank you, brother.
Good job.
Yeah,
Bye.
take care, John. Good luck with everything.
You too.
Mhm.
What was I gonna say? Jeez, it's happening again. I'm gonna have to put a pen and paper down and like write down. This is your question.
Channel back. Tell them. The command.
You know those gremlins you're talking about? I think they're also called brownies, right? The little brown dwarfs or those little.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember reading the book. I forgot the guy's name, but he would guy that's lived in England in the Cotswolds, and he wrote a book about all his experiences, him and his wife, and that's what they're called. Brownies. They're like house elves or something like that, and they like to, they like things a certain way. So if you do this, they don't like it, so they place it where they want it because they feel like that's where it should be. So I felt like the first apartment I lived in, I had something like that because things would go missing. My cat, he wouldn't like hiss or freak out, but he just kind of be like, "Oh shit, there's something in the room." So
Me, I
when
really don't like gnomes. And then after seeing certain things,
mhm,
uh, they help with sacrifices. The
mhm.
gnomes. They had the old men with the long beard. They existed. And so that's why a lot of people worship elves and gnomes, especially Christmas time.
Mhm.
The connection there, right?
Yeah, like in what's it, Scandinavia, they have this gnome that's called the Eulenista, and that they have to leave treats for this gnome, and then it'll leave them gifts or something for the kids, and I'm like, so they don't steal the kids or something? That's what I thought. So they're leaving it an offering so the kids get to stay at home another year.
Ah, that's what trick or treat is all about too. The Halloween.
Yeah, I hate Halloween, dude. I hate.
That's one of my favorite holidays because what happened
Mhm,
to me that I died
mhm,
3 days in Halloween, 2010. So
mhm.
to me, when I dress with my half dead face, that's like from death to life, and I have my tattoo of the
What day was your NDE?
2010. It was
October?
1st of 2010. That was the near death experience. Well, I died for 3 days. Well,
Mine was October 1st.
October 1st,
October 1st.
2010.
No, 2016, but it's so weird that it's like the first, like, except a month difference from yours exactly.
And we
Hmm.
were talking earlier how we were Pisces. A bunch of us are Pisces, and
Yeah. Like
My mom was born
birthday's the
October
25th.
13th. Isn't that crazy? She's born October 13th. That's my mom's birthday. The 13th, and that's your number, right, Veronica?
a lot of things happened when I was 13. My volleyball number was 13. My dad took his life 13. 13, we talked about it like the golden compass, where they were trying to, take the demon daemon, which is actually, their animal being from the child.
They're spirit animal. They ripped that from the child at 13.
And a lot
You
of,
have to grow up.
if you notice that the people become more promiscuous at age 13, the hormones start going. And that's when they can do their rituals, their magic. That's why they did so many things to me when I was 13. And, there's just something about 13. We did talk about before about Belle, the Annabelle Belle. Or was it that one where they take her, they send her
No,
away.
it's Kiki. That's Kiki's delivery service. At 13, she has to fly and go find her home. And then, yeah, at 13, she has to find her way. Like the same with her mom. She landed in the new city, and that was it. She got to just grow up. And I'm like, at 13, you're still a child at 13.
Thanks for being here, Colin. I know you can't really talk, but maybe you can. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you still need to watch Spirited Away, Veronica. Everyone too needs to watch Spirited Away because that's Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about that one.
Okay, so it's about a girl. I want to say she's about 12 or 13, and her family's moving. I guess the dad got a job, and so they're moving, and they get lost. So they end up at this tunnel, and so they go through, and they think it's an amusement park, but it's really it's for like the spirits, and like for all the spirits. And at evening, they didn't know. So, her parents are eating the spirits' food.
The one that they turned into pigs, the ones we saw together?
Yeah, so their parents turned into pigs, and so she has to work at a bathhouse to try to earn their freedom. And so, yeah, so this girl has to pretty much like free her parents from this curse, and she's working at this bathhouse at a very young age. And Yubaba the witch, the lady who owns the bathhouse, she just cares about money. She just cares about her material stuff. And then she has a twin sister named Zaniba, who's the complete opposite. She lives very more humble, lives in a little house, and she cares more about people. And so she's trying to help this girl like to free her parents. And what is it? This kid, his name is Haku, who's really a river spirit, but he forgets, and so she has to help him and stuff. And so, but this movie, a lot of people, they saw that it has to do a lot with like child prostitution because she's working in a bathhouse. Well, back in those days in the bathhouses, the girls had to cater to these rich Japanese men or whatever, or maybe even in the Roman times because they had bathhouses too. So yeah, so in this movie, yeah, she just has to pretty much earn her parents' freedom by working.
It's crazy. And that's weird that you say, isn't there like, they always have like the witch being like something Baba?
Yubaba, that was her name, yeah.
Yeah,
then,
like I've heard that, like the witch is.
And she'll transform into like a black bird, like a crow. Like she puts on her like shawl thing, and then she starts flying. She has like these black glasses on, and she flies away. And then she has these 3 head things that just go whoop whoop whoop. They don't talk, and so they're like her little henchmen. And then her twin sister, turns them into her child, who's like this really big bald baby with just like this apron on, and turns the baby into a mouse, and then turns the something else into like a little fly or something like that. And so they end up becoming good, after they're in these forms. They're just like, oh shit, and so the baby.
But the baby is kind of weird because it's a really tall baby, and
yeah, it's like a big ass baby, right?
a lot of people that are addicted to all this ugly stuff, they always have fetishes of, oh, dress me, I'm an old man, dress me up with the baby diaper.
Right, and they're all sucking their thumb or on a bottle, and they're all the woman is putting a diaper on them, and it's just like, wow, what is this world becoming? And in that, they even showed in that documentary they sent you, the End of Men, they show that like this guy is just on, this woman's just changing his diaper and he's just sucking his thumb, and I'm like, that's just so sick. That is just so sick.
I can't.
Yeah, it's just like, why? But it's just like, I don't know, man. This world is definitely, like I told Veronica, we're living in 3 different times. Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, and Rome. You have to pay these draconian taxes, all this perversion that we have to see, and then all these false gods that they want us to worship.
Yeah.
Hell fucking no. Hell fucking no. I don't consent to none of that shit.
The God Wars, dog wars, the gods are dead.
The gods are dead. There never was any gods. It's just these gods that they made up, And then
belief system.
Yeah, it's a whole fake belief system. And in that show Britannia, there's this woman, her name is Amina. She has no belief in the gods. She's like, they're all the same and they all do the same stupid shit. Like, and they don't do shit to begin with, In the end, they don't do shit for you. You have to make your own way. She's like, you make your own path. You make your own teacher. You make yourself the queen or the king, not some fucking gods or some druids to try to tell you they talk for the gods. It's just, she's like, they all just want to be worshipped and shit. She's like, you make your own path. You don't have to listen to some god or some gods to tell you what you need to do. It's like, you do it. If you feel like that's inside you and you got to do it, do it.
Remember, I have a hard time with remember. I say remember. My kids too. Remember when we were talking, you and I, Celeste, about that. And
Mhm.
I said, yeah. And when I was in the church, oh, I want to go to the heaven where their streets are gold. Girls, that men, women, this it's not that. It's our louche. Same thing with the movie Dune. They call it the is it cinnamon or what is it? The
Oh, the spice.
ice, right? And that's the gold. And then the worms are like watching over everybody. And Power Lady sent me this picture, and I'll share it with you guys later because I don't want to waste time. Where in the times of the Romans, she sent me a picture where there's a worm coming out, and then the helmet they can't see. They have a helmet that goes over them, and that worm when they die, right, these wannabe gods, they will put that into a new body. So it's like, why is it that these kings live for thousands of years, and then the peon, well, actually they're the kings, right, but the soldiers, they would put the smaller worms which go through the belly button. Why do we have a belly button? Why do we have brains that look like serpents and stomach that looks like worms? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and
Yeah,
then
it's just all.
Anubis, the god of the underworld. He's one of, I like him.
Mhm.
Talked to him before.
And then the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail.
Yes, and his job is to take the worm out of the pharaohs and to mummify them, right? But go ahead and, dude, sprouts. You just sent me that picture earlier where it's the aurora borealis, or how do you say it?
The Ouroboros. So yeah, I was looking at because I have a sprouts bag right here for my trash bag, and I noticed like it says sprouts, but the O, so it looks almost like it's not all the way closed, and the little head looks like a snake head, but it's a leaf, like like just like a leaf for sprouts. But all I saw was a snake, and then the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail, and so that's supposed to mean like the continual of life, but for like these parasites, these so-called elites. And in that movie, The Secret of Kells, that kid Brendan, I forgot what they call it in the movie. It has a name like the Kraken or some shit like that. And that little fairy girl, Aveline, she can't enter in there. Like she looks all old and decrepit, because it's like sucking the life out of her. And she's like, I can't go in there. So Brennan, the little human boy, goes in there and it defeats it. But as he's fighting it, it's going around like that, and it starts to eat its own tail. And that's how he defeats it, because it eats itself. So that's another movie everyone should watch. It's called The Secret of Kells. It's an animated movie, but it's so deep, dude. Like, not, I don't think it's really meant for kids. It's just meant more for people who are more like the older group, like teenagers and adults, because there's so much in there. It's showing about like the Vikings invading Ireland and all that stuff, but it's more than that.
It's more than that. And I say, okay, because tonight is the full moon. It's detox time. It's starving the parasites. Starve those worms. Starve them worms.
Starve them worms, yeah. Starve that worm that's trying to continue its life. It's like, no, you got to kill it. Kill
Yes,
that
you
shit.
can send me that detox that you bathe in. So I want to try it.
I will. And then, Celeste was even saying, why is it that they have, or was it Power Lady that says, oh, they have the worm in tequila?
Mhm.
Tequila, right? Why do they have that worm? It's all about the snakes. Like if you read the tarot papers, the SSS queens, SSS kings, they're right here, the triangle, up, right, and down, right? So they're around the Earth's atmosphere. They're on another plane.
Isn't that worm in the tequila called the wormwood or something like that?
No sé, in Spanish, no sé. I don't
So they're
know.
like, oh yeah, the worm that's in there, they call it wormwood, or it's a wormwood. It's meant to like.
Yeah, they would always challenge us to eat the worm. I'm like, hell no, I didn't. But then when we were kids, we would go to pick the trees in Mexico. In Mexico, they had the little bellotitas, the little brown, crack them open. Oh, shoot, you get a yellow. And then as kids, we would say, eat it. And like, no.
Do you remember that book, How to Eat Fried Worms?
Oh yes.
I remember a babysitter in my, oh God, never mind. Okay, but oh crap, I was gonna say something and I just forgot. Sorry, Veronica.
Yeah, I looked it up. They said it isn't a worm, but it's rather a larva of the beetle Cyphophorus acupunctatus. A larva of the moth. So it's a moth larva.
No, you know what it reminds me of? And there's a sex magic. It's the actual larva. They call it. Okay, so there's a secret, right? In sex magic. So, and this show is not for adults here at Codebreaker Real Talk. When you ejaculate, the man or the woman, they're not supposed to. The secret is to not have the orgasm, but in the spirit, there's still the essence of both. For lack of a better word, juices. Okay, forgive me. But that is a larva that is created in the astral, right? And that's how the people can use it. Now, what I teach is, right before if you're gonna climax or not, in your mind, you're gonna be busy. Instead of enjoying it, you're gonna be busy saying and naming what you want done in your life and from Mother Earth or whatever. That's another secret. You can change timelines with that, baby. That's a story for another day. Or classes, my private classes.
Dude, I've had dreams about big white spiders. Like they look like tarantulas with all the eyes and shit. I'm like, what is that? I remember dreaming I was like in these apartments, like it was these, but the apartments were much taller and like all these, stairs that just led up to really just not to even to the rooftops, like it just. And then I remember looking down and there was like a big white spider and it's looking at me and I went to go kill it. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I hate spiders, dude. Fucking hate spiders. So always in my dreams, I'm always killing them.
It reminds me of the movie that I just wrote here, Tomorrow World. Power Lady told me to watch that. I was like, dang, that looks like those white spiders, those white Dracos.
Or is that what that movie, the Tomorrow War, the one that we watched?
Or World Tomorrow War.
Yeah, because I remember when I was watching that too, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of those big white spiders in my dreams. But I would kill, but they were like, just like that size. But I would fucking kill them because I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. Fucking hate spiders.
Like shank.
You're right, shank that bitch.
That's interesting. What Chad was saying about the orbs, going back to the orbs, because a lot of people in the love and light community, oh, the orbs. Oh.
Yeah, they try to say they're fairies. There's a YouTube channel that I listen to. It's called Scary Fairy Godmother, and people send in their stories, of like their fairy encounters. And a lot of them are about these orbs. They're like either in the room or they're in the forest or wherever, but they'll see these orbs and they'll be different colors. So,
And they said on that missing 411, he says, whatever you do, don't shoot at them.
Yeah, just get away from them. I mean, but all these stories that I listen to,
that's a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, but all the stories I listen to, it's you could tell they're real stories because people would have really bad dreams or just things that would happen in their life after, or maybe just some sort of incident because they went chasing it, or just it just happened to be in their life, and then they're like, yeah, and after that, like all this crazy shit just started happening, and it's just like, oh fuck. You don't want to fuck with those things, just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. It's like, hey, if I, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Let's just go our separate ways.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. I don't know how I would react to one in the woods. I mean, you think about it in your own mind, but
right.
And you always think you're going to be prepared. But I was like out exploring by this river, and there was a cave underneath the bridge, and I was like, well, shit, I can't see the end of it. I wonder where it goes. Who in the hell is going to go crawl in a dark cave by themselves where nobody knows? But I go in there. And I have my light, and I have it on video too. I got it all videotaped, and I was looking at the walls, and I went to the back, and I could see where the ceiling had collapsed and stuff like that. But I don't know what I would do if I ever came across something. I mean, I guess that day will come, maybe.
Yeah, I just hope
I don't know.
I just don't want to see something that could cause, discord in your life, like a red cap or just something like that. Just some sort of entity that just will bring really bad things into your life and just, ugh, I
I
don't know.
see it. Yeah.
You know, I just feel like, oh, just leave me alone.
The
Right.
most toxic relationship I've ever been with, any that I'd ever been in, was my last marriage. And before he and I got married, after we had met, I was at his house and I was sleeping, and I had this really weird dream. Well, you know, our dreams are never dreams, but I was speaking with Lucifer, and he had like kind of like this facial hair. But if you remember the Hunger Games and you remember the first one, how the guy had like designs carved in his beard,
hmm
in his facial hair, that's exactly what he looked like. Like that, like he had like all these weird carvings in his beard, and he had black hair, and he was really slick. He was like gorgeous, and he and I are just having like this conversation, and he was very amused by me because I was like very uncomfortable around him, because he gave off this really weird, almost like a frequency that was very agitating to me, and like the one thing that I wanted to do was get away from him. And so he's like, he was really amused by me, like trying. There was like we were in this like big study, and there's these doors, and so I'm like trying to be nonchalant, walk over and check the door real quick, you know. It was like locked, and I keep talking, and then I walk to another door, and I'm like, check the door real quick, you know. And it was like, no wonder why he was just so amused by me, because you know I'm like trying to get out, and then I'm like no, you know, and I go back to the conversation, and it was funny. But at the time I woke up and I was just like, I felt like I had to go take a really hot shower with bleach, because it just he just gave me this really icky feeling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about that dream that I had about Max and that guy. Like, it felt like that was Lucifer, and I just felt really icky, and I just wanted to get away from him, and I was just like, ugh, why are you here? Just go the fuck away from me.
Okay,
Like,
so
get out of my life already. And it's just, but
that
like,
was doing the 60, and he was dead, right? And then you said there was two women in there. So remember, there's Max, and then there's his fiance that was involved with this, and there's this other guy that supposedly it was Monica, Sarah Adams, and then this other guy that with black hair. That's why I asked you, did he have black kind of wavy
and the
hair,
guy did have black hair.
beard? Because they were supposedly trying to help him to with all these memories and stuff, and he went to go write his book, and then all this happened. So that dream that you had, there's something there, Celeste. You're onto something.
Yeah, because of course I was just like, why would I dream that? You know, I'm like, well, what affiliation would I have with Max? I'm like, I understand the fucking guy because he was my ex boss. But I don't remember who these women were. We were just like ha 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 and just trying on clothes, watching some 70s movie or 80s movie, and then that's when he walked in and everything just stopped, and we were just like, fuck out of here, like we don't want you in here, and just walks in like looking at us.
If you're watching TV, or if you're going through a glass, or if you're going through a window mirror, that's a portal, like a jump room. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tell you guys, you know, I cover my TV all the time. I do protections for people too with their windows. I only use mirrors when I have to, and I also use mirrors for spells. Whenever they try and come for my bloodline, believe me, I'm there writing. I'm talking to them. You leave my bloodline alone, fuckers. Like I see you, you know. And there's also ways of using a mirror in your dreams. You can put the mirror here, and you can behind you when you can remote them that way. There's so many tricks.
Really?
So many
I don't get freaked out about mirrors. I have one really big one, and I have like fake flowers and stuff around it, and then the same with a smaller mirror. It's like it's got white border, and then I have ivy and fake roses like around it, and I feel like there's nothing in there watching me. I feel more protected by them.
Yeah, you can do protection spells also.
I feel like the really big one, if I get enough magical stuff, that I can actually go through and get into the fairy world somehow. So I'm trying to buy all this stuff to get in there.
You can like when and Chad knows this, when I'm stuck in the astral, I look for a mirror, a TV, or a window,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll make one. like in Beetlejuice. You make one. You make a door. and you
Oh
go-
yeah.
Mhm.
That's how I felt like with my car. Remember when I said I was running in my car? Well, cars have windows, and I ran to the door, and as soon as I touched it, poof, and that's when and it was literally that sound like that, poof, and then that's when I woke up, and I was like, oh shit, that was fucking crazy.
I have a question. I'm curious about mirrors because I cover all mine up, and there's a couple things I'm particular about, and that's one of them. I cover my mirrors and I make sure my closet doors are always shut when I go to bed. For some reason, it's just
Doors too. Mhm.
yeah. What do you do to your mirrors to do work with them? Like, how do you bless your mirror? I want to know, like, because there's the one above the sink, and I usually cover it up, but it's not covered up at the moment. But I never look in them, and I've never looked in mirrors my whole life. I'll look at my eye, I'll look at my what I'm shaving, I'll look at my what I'm popping, whatever it is, brushing. You know, it's like, but I won't just look in the mirror. And I've been wanting to do that work lately, but um,
What I do is I use holy water. I make my own holy water.
gotcha.
If it's an emergency and you don't have holy water, just go like this. Your saliva is
Okay.
holy water. So what I do is I say what I want out. Okay, I sage the place first and with one window open. And I command everything that I'm feeling that is negative or whatever the hell. I return it to sender thrice, 3 times, with consciousness attached. Then I go to my mirrors and the TV and everything. And with your holy water, you put a cross. And then you put a circle around it to hold that. So that way it can't do anything. It can't come through. Because they like to come through the TVs when you're asleep, especially if you leave Wi-Fi on. Don't leave your Wi-Fi on. And if you have to leave your Wi-Fi on, do sunlight. Sunlight or
Do-
here's an example. That is sweet made this for me. It has a dragon and everything. This is games.
Beautiful.
Games.
I remember my mom telling me that when she was a kid, her and her, I don't know if it was her siblings or her cousins, they were watching a cartoon. It was the Smurfs, and that they remembered one coming out of the TV, and they started freaking out and screaming. And so she would tell me, she's like, those things, that she's like, that really can happen. So certain cartoons she wouldn't let us watch, and of course, as kids, you're like, oh my God, you're so weird. But then now, of course, now that you know, you're like, oh shit, she was trying to protect us because it happened to her as a child.
You that said
Wow.
and then it came back in.
Say it again?
Was it you that told me that somebody had a Smurf? And then
Yeah, that was me telling you that. So when she was a kid, yeah, so she had a Smurf doll and her dad hated it, so he threw it away. And then it came back in the house and he got mad at the kids and he's like, why'd you take it out of the trash and bring back in? And they were like, we didn't do that. So he had to chop it up and then put it in a bag and then he threw it away and then it didn't come back in the house.
yeah, I think I told you one of my relatives that was in Scientology, she gave me 2 porcelain dolls. She said, one for you and one for your daughter. I looked at those things and I went outside, smash, throw them.
Yep. No, thanks, Dude, and it's funny you say that.
Talking, okay, I gotta go real quick, but I'll be right back.
Okay, so now that you mentioned that, so there's a movie called May, like, like the month of May. And it's about this girl who's pretty much just, she's like fucked in the head or something. But anyways, she has a porcelain doll that she would talk to and it would tell her to do things. So she would meet certain people and there's certain body parts that she liked about them. Like Anna Faris is in this movie and she says she really likes her neck. And so at the end of this movie, so all these people that she meets that she likes their certain body parts, so she makes a friend out of all these body parts, like the neck and the head and the hands and everything else, because the doll, this fucking crazy porcelain doll, tells her to do it because it has a spirit in it.
That's so funny that you can't sleep with your closet doors open, because I had that my whole life, and very recently, I'd say the last couple of months, I've been sleeping with my closet doors open.
Oh.
And I could never sleep with it open, not even cracked open or one door open or nothing. It had to be fully shut. My husband would be like, oh, he'd come in the room, he'd be like, oh, he'd close the door automatically because he knew I couldn't sleep with it open.
That's interesting.
But
why do you think you have them open?
I don't know. I think it's because I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
I think
That's
I'm
what it
going,
feels like.
I think I'm using them to go somewhere. But the thing is that, when I was a kid, and my mother mentioned this to me, or I should say my surrogate mother mentioned this to me. She said, when you'd be screaming at night, and I'd get up in the middle of the night to see, if you were having a bad dream, or if you fell out of bed and like broke your arm. She said you'd be screaming bloody murder, and I'd go in there and you'd be like on the bed and you'd be pointing at the closet and you'd say, there's a man in my closet.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, and she's like, you would do that constantly. She goes to the point where we just started closing your closet doors at night. Because we noticed when we closed them that you weren't waking us up screaming that there's a man in the closet.
Yeah, I
And
can't
that's how,
close my
if you
closet
remember
open.
John's first interview, he talks about this woman coming out of his closet, and it's this blonde 10-foot woman wearing a Nazi uniform that opens a portal and takes them. And that's kind of what I kind of went through with, having the portal open and stuff. And I'm very, very sensitive to portals. Like, I can tell when there's a portal in someone's house before I even enter their house. I'm just like, oh, there's a portal in there. And like, I was talking to one of Veronica's guests that he had on there. And I told the sister, I was like, you got a portal open in your house. And I hadn't even been in her house, I mean, I'm just so sensitive to it, but
There's a career there.
well, yeah, that's what they used me and Veronica for, because we were able to use portals.
Yeah.
And open them and close them. And somebody asked me very recently to show them how to open a portal, and I said no.
That's pretty cool, Eve. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can close them just like that too. It's really weird.
Yeah, when I just had surgery on my foot, right? I had surgery on my back. I need to have another surgery here in my neck, and then my right shoulder has been it's still fractured from last year in April. They rear-ended the surface, and I had a feeling something was going to happen. I had.
That's so funny, because my right shoulder was the one that I tore the rotator cuff in.
Yeah.
My last fight that I got into.
Dude,
Gotta beat some bitches.
I did. I picked her up and threw her against the wall 3 times.
Fuck yeah.
Long story.
I'm like, tell me right now in a little bit, but I was like, man, I mean, I know you told me before. I know something's happening. There was traffic everywhere. There was an accident in the other side. We were coming down the frontage line. So there was an accident on the freeway. And all I know, I do a special thing when I open and close portals, and I'm not gonna do it right. But I did it, and for protection. And then I opened it and I closed it, and then boom, I get rear-ended. And it could have been really bad. Could have been worse. And the guy was like very nervous. He said, "Oh, with all this stuff happening, the pandemic or whatever. I'm an artist, and I'm sorry, I was distracted. I was on my phone." And so, I was pissed at him. I'm like, "Are you gonna run if I tell you to move over here?" I was like, I got my cop mode. I'm like, "Are you gonna be a runner? I go, give me your ID before we move. Give me your driver's license before we move the vehicles." So he tore all the left side of my vehicle, and the back was messed up, the bumper, everything, the everything. Thank goodness nothing happened to the people that I had with me, but my shoulder is messed up. And then later on, he said, State Farm wanted to tell me, oh, they told me actually, they said, well, if you want $2,000, you have to do a salvage title on Beastie, color Beastie. I go, no, you can keep your money. I am not registering my vehicle as a salvage. You guys want to take my vehicle too? I don't think so, And so it's just I've had already 2 shoulder surgeries in the past, and now I have to have another one. So tell me about your story.
Well, this was like 2015. It was New Year's Eve. I went out with my husband and we proceeded to drink, and I got alcohol
for some reason turns me in my altar. I have no control or integration whatsoever. She just comes in and takes over and basically annihilates anybody and everybody in her path. She definitely I can see why they picked her as a super soldier, because this woman has no mercy. And that was me that night. I remember I had this horrible, I had to say, I said the C word. And that's the last thing I remember before she threw her drink in my face and I threw her against the wall 3 times. Everybody's like, she just kept getting up. So after the 3rd time she came, by this time I had gotten into my Hulk mode. I got so angry, I blacked out. And that happens sometimes when I get mad. I totally black out. And I was drinking on top of that. So I blacked out completely. I came out of my blackout and I'm standing behind everybody. And they must have just shoved me behind them and tried to keep me from coming at her. And they had to have 2 people deep. And I was still pulling them apart because I was like, what's going on? And I'm like pulling people and they're like, there's a fight. And I'm like, who's fighting? And they're like, you are. And I was like, me? And I was like, well, who am I fighting? So I like pulled these people apart and then I seen her and I'm like, that's the bitch that threw the drink in my face. So I went after her. They were holding my arms. 2 guys on each arm were holding my arms. And one guy was just hanging on to this girl, and I'm still pulling these 4 guys with me. And when I get mad like that, it doesn't matter. It's like I have this strength that there's nobody can pull me apart from someone. If I got someone by the neck and they're trying to pull me off of them, they can't, because I have the marks, like the fingerprints. I've had the bruises. I've had the scratch marks from people trying to rip me off of somebody, and they can't do it. And they're like, it's like you're magnetized to this person. And it's just like, no, that's just my strength. And I don't know where it comes from. And I'm guessing it comes from my alter, Gamora, where, she had this, inhuman strength. That was that's the whole reason why they used her in the program anyway. They wanted to be able to use that to inject in the Hulk program. They wanted that strength. They wanted, they weren't expecting the green, but they got the green.
And then how many times did they electrocute us, radiate us, all that stuff
before they figured out how it actually activated in conjunction with the serum that they used. Quite a bit. They started out really with like the electroshock therapy, and then they moved it up to basically shocking the shit out of you guys. And to hear those screams,
there's a reason
I don't like to hear screams at all, because it brings me back to that moment when all of you were screaming.
Oh yeah, I do scream therapy now because I have to. Because if not,
you have to. Mm-hmm.
There's a reason. I was thinking the other day that there's a reason why I went to West Virginia when I was in high school. I won this thing to go for a week because I wanted to study politics and all that stuff. And I was in high school, and they took me and this other guy, 2 people from each high school. They selected me to go. Everything was paid. All the teachers, they even bought me clothes, and they were all excited for me because I couldn't afford anything. And they sent me over there it's called the Close-Up Program. In Washington, D.C., I got to go to the Smithsonian, to the Supreme Court. We walked around the Pentagon, like we couldn't go in, obviously. They didn't let us in. We were supposed to go into the White House, but they said that we couldn't. And then they also took us to Jamestown. And over there was a place where they used to electroshock women back in the day. And supposedly,
how old were you?
Museum now. I was in high school, dude. I was like 17. So I'm like,
they were that scared of you at age 17. They wouldn't even let you in the White House. That is so funny. Because I guarantee you, if you wouldn't have been on that tour, they would have went in the White House.
For real. Veronica's in here. We're safe.
When he gave me my whole, he gave me my whole records, and then he said that, you know, that's oh, I lost my train of thought. May I have my channel back, fuckers? Oh, excuse my language. What was I saying?
You were talking about the tour, and then you went to the Pentagon, or went to the Pentagon, but you didn't go inside the Pentagon, and then you went to the White House, but you didn't get to go in.
Yeah, so he says that I graduated at 16 from the program, that I was the youngest one.
Oh yeah, because you're Asuka. Remember, you're Asuka.
Barking. Whose dog's barking? Yours, Eve?
It's an outside dog. I have my window open.
Yeah.
My dog is like very tiny. He's got the kind of bark. That's a big dog.
They try and mess us up. They you know, they wanted us to, you know, off ourselves before we remembered, but we're here.
They wouldn't. I mean, that's just the one thing. Because you know, it's basically like Hydra. You cut off one part, another part just grows
Right.
back.
2 more
Stronger.
heads or some shit.
Right. Yeah. And if you eliminate an altar, and they realize this after max, all it does is rehome. There's a mission here that's stronger than anything in this world, and we're all here like magnets, like static electricity. We had to be here. You know, for some of us it was a want, it was a need. Like me, I wanted to be here. I planned to be here, and when I got to go, I was thrilled to death, because it was like I wanted, you know, a specific reason to be here.
Yes, Mama, you said Hydra, and that's a trigger word for me.
You know, it's funny you guys say that, because last night when I was in bed, I imagined myself killing and chopping up 2 of my altars that I want nothing to do with. And you're talking about, you know, you kill a head and 2 come up, and I was, you know, in my head, I was just like, you know, you're done. I don't want you in my life. Like, the 2 of you are gone. And I just pictured myself just like chopping them up and then burning them. Because it's just like,
Yep.
I don't want you in my life anymore. It was like the sex kitchen altar and then another one.
Shut that one
What?
down. Like, no more. I'm done.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's like, I want the ones that are going to be down for business, down to help humanity. Those are the ones that I want coming forward. I don't need these dumb little bitches trying to come forward to, you know, to fuck shit up. So I had it in my mind, just like, you're dead to me. You're dead. Like, you're burnt. I burnt that.
Mama, the last one that they sent to me, the one that was Navy, Air Force, and he also was Intel. He would tap into the phones and do all that stuff, and he worked for Raytheon. And supposedly, he said he was sent to me to help me and all this stuff. And then he said, "Hey, you want to watch a movie?" And he didn't give me a choice. He said, "We're gonna watch." I was just telling you guys before we started the video. Me, myself, and Irene. So they were trying to program me for something, and I'm like, no, I shut that sex kitten altar down, baby. We out of here. You know.
Right. That bitch gone.
Now that word Hydra, we're gonna talk about Hydra, Captain America, Hydra. Remember, Eve, you and I were talking about that, and you, Celeste, and I were talking about the actors in Once Upon a Time, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy who's the Mad Hatter. Yeah.
The Mad Hatter, whose relationship he is in real life, and then Eve and I were talking about, because you asked me a question a long time ago, about a year ago or so, and you asked me a specific question about them 2 fighting. The guy in Winter Soldier. The remember we were watching all of them just to I hadn't watched them with my open eye. Like I loved them, you know, before, but then when I had my awakening and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, all this, like, what? You piece everything together. So they will use the good against the bad all the time. And then I had a vision of Winter's War coming, and I made a video on that. But do you guys want to talk about that? I would love it if Colin can talk. He has so much information, but he's busy. You guys want to talk about the Hydra program?
Oh yeah.
To do with CERN too.
Both of them, because you know, Hydra never ceased to exist.
Like I say, you cut off one head, 2 in its place, and it's just going to keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying.
Yeah, and there was like several subdivision programs off of Hydra that, you know, that the US actually took part of. So
What is Hydra? I'm not familiar.
It was almost kind of like it started out with a one person that Hitler assigned that was part of like, it's almost like a paranormal type, you know, because they were trying to come up with something using, you know, dark magic and the occult, and anything paranormal to use in the war, and also to like be able to open portals. I mean, anything and everything they wanted to go there. And
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, there were things that they were doing, you know, they took, I think the best thing that you can, like, they actually tell you what they were doing, which is in Hellboy, if you've ever watched that, where they actually show the Nazis coming in with a satanic priest, or, you know, somebody higher up, and coming in and opening an actual portal to what they say is hell, but it was like a dimension, you know, that was able to bring back something, and that's Hellboy. They brought Hellboy back, and he was like supposed to be their savior and help them win the war, and he ended up becoming, you know, America brought him over, and then, you know, raised him, the scientists raised him, and, you know, well, actually, you can go farther into it and what he was doing, but that's actually true.
And Hydra is a moon of Pluto.
All right.
What'd you say? What did you say?
Hydra is a moon of Pluto.
On the 27th, we're gonna have a show. Werewolves Bound.
That is amazing.
Is where the werewolves started, and I said Pluto, the character in Disney.
Pluto. That's because that's where the werewolves were actually put on Pluto. The werewolves were there. I mean, people will be like, "You guys sound like you're completely actual nuts," but
and
it's
isn't Pluto
true.
the Hell Planet or something like that, or the planet of rebirth or something? Like in Sailor Moon, Sailor Pluto, she's the gatekeeper of time. She has a gigantic ass fucking key, and she also uses it as a weapon.
Why do you think that there's a whole bunch of werewolves on Pluto? What do you think they're protecting?
Hell.
Think about it.
It all comes full circle, man. Just like the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail.
And then there's a movie, the Lock and Key. Okay, you know, when you're kids, you're like, you wanted that heart. As girls, we always wanted that heart.
Right.
The key. And then the boyfriend's gonna have the key. Fuck that. Excuse me.
It's like, nah,
We have the key. We have the lock, and we have the key.
Right.
I'll be right back. I'm getting a phone call. Go ahead and talk.
Okay. But that's the thing, you know, every single one of us, and I think John said this before, and I know Veronica said it, and I've said it, but, you know, within each of us contains our own puzzle pieces, and they don't make sense to us, and they don't connect, because we've tried connecting it. We've tried to understand and understand the puzzle,
or
and
just
whatever.
trying to put the
we
two
have in
pieces
front
that
of us.
don't fit. You're just like, I'm just gonna make you fit.
I'm going to chew off this piece and make it
Right.
fit.
There you go.
Okay, I've done that. Okay, it doesn't work. But you know, when we connect like this, these puzzle pieces start to connect and they make sense. We start to see a bigger picture. And that's the thing, is the one thing that they didn't expect. They didn't expect for us to have such a strong connection to each other, because the thing is that we're all made up the exact same thing, as the planets, as the stars, as the universe, as the galaxy, everything. We're all made of the same thing, and we're all able to connect to each other, just like when you get electrons together and they just kind of whoop, you know, they come together, and that's exactly what we are. And we're able to, you know, pass on information from one person to another just through our DNA. That is so amazing. We are just such amazing individuals, every single one of us, and you know, it hurts my heart.
Eve, do you think every single one of us is amazing, or a part of the population? Because I'm wondering. I feel like you and I have a connection, and there's other people like us, but I'm not sure everybody's like this, and I'm wondering about the others. Like
the others,
they're
like
gonna come back around.
That's what it is.
We're
They're
very
gonna come back
amazing, but the
around.
one thing is that they've learned how to be able to remove the soul, and they call it soul stripping. And there are plenty. I gave Veronica this list of bases in the United States that do this, where they are able to take someone's soul, remove it from their body, and then you can place other entities, other interdimensional entities that cannot exist on this plane in a physical form unless they're in a host body. And so they do that, and then they're like let out into this world. And there are so many people like that, and you can sense them, you can sense it, you can see it. And that's why when people, you know, catch glimpses of reptilians, you know, they're like, oh, that was really weird. Yep, exactly. It's called soul stripping, soul scalping. I've heard it's called soul scalping. Exactly. And Veronica, that was that list that I gave you regarding those draconian, or no, reptilian, not draconian, because the draconians are the good guys, they're the warriors. And my father's a draconian warrior, so that's exactly what I am too. So, all right. So.
Yeah.
What else are we going to, anything we have to bring up real quick?
10 more minutes, and then I gotta go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that all these people that, you know, are kind of coming against Veronica, you know who we're talking about, and that dream that I had, you know, I said we're all wearing the red shirts, and I said to them, they're my team, you know, all those people. And when I was at work waiting at the deli counter for, you know, person's order, there was three people that didn't even know each other. All of them had red shirts on, and that only confirmed to me that it's all good. They're all going to finally come back. They're all in survival mode right now, and you know, you just got to just show them love and just be like, okay, I understand what you're going through, and it's shitty that you had to go this way, but you're soon going to see enough that this was never the past, and you should have stuck around with the actual real team. And they're all going to come around, all of them, you know.
They're coming.
All that went against Max, all that went against Veronica, they're all gonna come back. And
they've come back. 2 of them already come back, but not of the that you're talking about, not yet. But people that have been trending for a whole year and all that crap happened, you know, now they're like, do you still love me? I'm so sorry, you were right. And I'm like,
you know, and you have to just, you know, just gotta just accept them with open arms. Be like, I understand what you went through. I understand that you were in survival mode, and I forgive you. And we're just here for a mission, and we're not here to be best friends. We're all here for a purpose, and it's to save humanity, it's to save this planet, and then we all go home.
We need allies.
That's why we're still stuck here, because our whole team is separated. We're all fractured right now. Just how they fractured us, they fractured the team, but we're all going to come back together, just how we're all coming back together, because we're helping each other. It's what's going to happen. Who knows how long it's going to take, but you know, we can't hate on them. It's just like, all right, you do what you got to do, but you're going to come back. So
I've had a strong sense of that too. That's part of the reason why I don't know if I'll start a platform now or not. I keep telling myself I'm going to, just because I don't want it to be big. I want it to be small. But that was part of the thing that I saw happening, was people coming back together in this community. But
I mean,
I was hoping it wasn't going to be through me. I'm like, please don't let it be me that has to take that bull by the horn.
You know, Chad, every little bit of glue helps. You know.
Yeah, they're all going to come back right now.
I see that happening. I see that. I'm glad you said it. Thank you.
And with this, you know, I mean, coming out and, you know, I mean, being, you know, having people watching me say all these things and do all these things and then having it posted, you know, I'm putting myself out there. And, you know, the thing is that, you know, I'm doing it for a reason. You know, the thing was that I spent years fighting my awakening, and some people are just like dumped completely, boom. What's happening with John with all of his memories, people are experiencing that on a daily basis. And that's one of the reasons why I put myself out there, is because I really want to be able to have people as a lighthouse bring in, you know, so we can keep passing on the truth and telling others the truth, so that they understand, you know, that like there are so many things going on. You know, people are just scraping the top when they start to talk about, you know, the president or they're talking about, you know, anything else that's going on in the news. You know, the thing is that we know that exactly what it is.
Right.
They don't, you know, and when they sit there and they say, oh, you know, oh, the moon landing was fake. No, it goes way deeper than that, and you have no idea. And we have to tell them, you know, and you risk telling yourself you know, and being ridiculed, but you know, you have to keep just talking and speaking your truth.
Right, because soon enough, the crazy people are, like I was telling Veronica, the crazy people are going to soon be the heroes, and they're going to be the ones saving humanity. And they're like, damn, you were right this entire time, and I just saw you as nothing. But now, soon enough, these people who were crazy are going to be, yeah, the ones, the heroes, the ones saving the world, the ones
Yeah, I had
waking
that
up the
dream.
world.
I had that really weird dream, that it was almost like an overlay dream, where I was like an actual, like, treated as a superhero, and there was like unlimited abilities, you know, telekinetic, being able to fly, you know, everything and anything, telepathy, you name it. I know one of my abilities is I'm able to just meet somebody and I know exactly what they're capable of, you know, their abilities and what they can do. It's like that one mutant from X-Men where she's like, there are 30 mutants and they're like, you know, level B mutants, and then there's 2 people that are level A, and you were one of them. You know what I mean? That's what my abilities are like. I hate them.
When I was in the church back in Phoenix, and I was being baptized, and I was being baptized by this really awesome black lady. Her name was Pastor Marie. I fucking love her. She was all so awesome. Like, she was so real. I loved her. But anyway, she was baptized me, and I don't remember if it was after or before, but she starts crying and she's like, "You're gonna be a voice." She's like, "For your family." And at first I'm thinking my family, like, you know, brothers and sisters, but I would never imagine she meant this family, you know, like speaking out with you guys and speaking out with everyone else to wake up the world and just like, look what's happening. Like, wake up, fucking wake up and see what's happening. Like, open your eyes, open your ears, open your soul, like, see what's happening. So I feel like it's all now starting to come together, starting to come into fruition, and I ain't gonna stop now. I already started, so the snowball, and it's just gonna get bigger and bigger till it smashes what I'm coming after.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
All of us
Oh,
together.
yeah. All of us, yeah. Like I said, all of us. And then those who are separated, they're gonna come back to us, and we're all gonna be stronger than ever, and just we're gonna take out these motherfuckers, dude, and make this world a better place for the next generation. Because I don't want to see these kids growing up in this fucked up world. Like, I don't. You know, I want kids to be running the streets without any fear, just running with their friends and just having a great time. And same for the adults, you know, not having a fear. You know, my kids are with their friends, and I don't have to worry about no pedophiles and no shit. Like, they're all taken care of because there's people even out there watching them and keeping an eye on them. Because that's how I am when I'm like out and about, and you know, if I see kids running around, I have to stop what I'm doing and I have to keep an eye on them. Like, I have, it's like I'm like this, you know, what do you call it? Like the sheep wolf that's watching the sheep, just keeping an eye on them, making sure that nothing, no wolf is coming after them or nothing's coming after them. Like, I have to keep an eye on these kids. It's just inside of me. Like, I have to keep them safe, even though they're
That
not
happened. Yeah. That
like,
happened to me the other day at work. A little girl ran into the bathroom right in front of me, and her mother was outside in the store, and I couldn't move. I had to stand there the whole time until she came out. I just could not move.
Right. You all of a sudden get into guardian mode, and you're just like, nope, don't go in here, or you're about to get fucking ripped up, dude. When I was working at the Marriott, I was cleaning the men's bathroom. I had the door open, of course, and the cutest little Amish boy, he's like, "I need to use the bathroom." He starts taking off his clothes, and I'm like, "The floor's wet," and I shut the door, and I stood right there, and I was just like, straight guarding this little boy until he was done. I'm like, I ain't gonna let nobody come in here. I'm like, I will fucking kill you if you even try to come to this bathroom. There's a little boy in here using the bathroom. Don't fucking even think about it.
I'm glad you brought that up, and this is what we're gonna end right now, and we'll go around and have everybody say how they can get a hold of you. But this is what's going on right now. Okay. It's been going on, but right now they're going after the sex traffickers, the people that are um, crossing people over the border. I was recently in the courtroom and there was 35, including men and women, and only 4 of those got released. One of the others was dealing methamphetamine and heroin, and this person may get life. I don't know. That's, you know, and the rest of them, they got sent back to where they were in prison because they were sending people illegally across the border. So that's why they have choppers.
Coyotes.
That's why there's always choppers. There's always, be aware of your surroundings. Take care of those children that people don't give an F about.
Hmm.
Report those parents that are I'm it's like, be an advocate for the children when they cannot be an advocate for themselves. I mean, the other day, and I've been unfollowing a lot of things on social media, because the other day I saw this lady with a scream mask on scaring the little kids while she's in a class in school, in preschool, and the kids are crying and she's laughing her butt off, and it's like, you don't do that.
That's a satanic ass bitch right there.
You're laughing at this. How can you laugh at a child that is being traumatized like this? Don't send me those memes. I will block you.
Yeah.
I'm
That
like,
is not funny shit, dude. Scaring kids like that. Like, that's traumatizing. That's pretty much trying to desensitize them until they get fucking kidnapped, and then they start doing the real fucking shit to take out their.
mhm.
I hate
I've
people like that, man.
actually, that reminds me of something, something that, one of our friends, little redhead that we know, was talking about, Chicago and I don't really want to say too much, but Veronica, I think we should think about adding this to one of your shows. But I've had a couple people I've talked to that lived in Chicago that said when they were younger kids and they were in gangs and stuff, and they would come across big, huge cartons of guns that were just dropped off in military boxes. And that was something that was going on. And then I kind of connected something that had happened when I did a Reiki session for our friends, and what I saw and what she had seen many years ago when she was traveling through there with her twin soul, when they were in the process of moving in together. But something they both saw together, and then now I'm figuring out why that thing was there and why the guns were placed there.
Eve, something's coming to me, guys. You know, something's coming to me. You know the bricks
The bricks?
that they were laying down, like when I was planning.
Yeah, the whole BLM thing, and there was bricks just laid right there.
Pallets of bricks, yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
Right outside the courthouses and everywhere. Yeah, right
Right.
where the trials were going on.
Was it what was the sign for? Was there something in there? Was it a map to where you can find these things? Roundtable.
With all that too, I mean, I found out everything, the BLM and the Viva La Raza was actually coming from like a psychiatric place that was using hypnosis on people that were having trauma or being treated for PTSD, depression, and whatnot. And a lot of these people were hypnotized to do exactly what they were told to do.
Like a mass hypnotherapy thing.
Right.
I
did have a person that really wanted it to get out, but didn't really want them to because it would all go right back to this one person, and this person was too scared to come forward, and that really bummed me out because I thought it would be
a good
amazing disclosure on these that everybody's talking about in these hashtag BLM and hashtag Viva La Raza and everything, and finding out exactly where they come from and what's behind that, and the whole thing where there were people that were actually willing to stand up and say that that whole Floyd thing was a setup. But I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't want to get too much hate on it, but let's just say that everybody knew each other and they all worked at a bar together.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I've seen that research too.
Did you hear about, like, remember that mural that was on the side of a building, and then a bolt of lightning hit those bricks? And it was a mural of George Floyd, and she's like, well.
I know, and this thing is that these people are just blindly following it like sheep, and you don't even know what you're following. You don't even have any inkling to how far the rabbit hole goes.
They go so deep, man, and people think they've scratched the surface, and I'm like, no, you gotta keep going more and more and more
Goes
until you.
deeper. If you think you got as deep as you can go deeper, because it goes deeper.
Like more,
We're
like down to 10 inches.
got 2 minutes. We're gonna end this now with Power Lady and I are gonna do a show next week, and we're gonna talk about the giants and the beanstalks. Giants, Jack and the Beanstalk. We're gonna talk about this once upon a time thing.
Oh yeah, that fucking show.
I have lots of thoughts on that too.
Guys,
I've been
We
thinking
were all
about
part
this,
of that too.
Veronica.
We were all part of
It's
that.
it's been on my mind. Yes. Oh yeah. I've been thinking about this too. Okay. The cities in the clouds and all different sorts of things. Yeah, that goes on.
the book
Oh,
of
What
The one
exactly?
like that,
What's
like the city in the
beanstalk?
cloud in China.
what did it say again?
Watch
in China,
that
there is
movie.
city. Yeah. What movie?
There's a movie called Castle in the Sky by, like Miyazaki that did the, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, like all those animated movies. It's called
Okay.
Castle in the Sky. I think it was done in the 80s or something. But yeah, it talks about a girl, she doesn't know she's the heir to a certain dynasty or something. It's called it looks like La Puta, but they call it La Puta. And there's these giant robots. Yeah, I'm not kidding, I'm laughing too. And it's these giant robots that come to life like AI, but it's crazy, dude. It's a crazy ass movie, but it's good. It's called Castle in the Sky. Watch it.
Will do. I wrote it down. Thank you.
Okay.
So, how can they get a hold of you? Let's start. Well, Colin, he can't speak right now, but I will write it down after, and then Chad first because he's working. Eve, Celeste, and then we'll go. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, for Chad_Cooper at 444 at Instagram.com. Thank you.
You're on Facebook and Twitter and Telegram, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, and I do check those every once in a while. Once in a blue moon, I do check those.
Every once in a while on Facebook, I'll get a random like from Chad. It's funny.
I have to physically sign on to Facebook. I have to go to Google search, look up Facebook, and then go to their sign in to get into Facebook. That's how attached I am from it. I don't have an icon on my home
I'm
screen.
like, oh my gosh, I have to take a picture of this. Chad Cooper like this. He's never on. He's never, ever on.
I'm never on. Okay. I'll be on more though,
Alright.
because I've been catching some good stuff on Facebook. You guys have been putting good stuff on, different than the family stuff that everybody puts on there.
Oh yeah.
I'm on
Yeah,
Facebook.
you and
Speaking of
Susan and
Facebook,
Frank.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
want them talking to me about some cool stuff. on
Speaking of Facebook, people can find me on Facebook, Eve Howard, HOWARD. If you see this as my cover picture, you found the right person. So you can message me and let me know if you have any questions. You can reach me on Instagram. I also have Snapchat. I don't use it that much. I just kind of use it to because it's encrypted and it disappears and stuff. So I kind of use it. So Evie Schmeevie, EVIESCHMIVIE. I should have just made it really simple, but I had to make it as hard as possible. But that was the nickname I had in high school. So Evie Schmeevie, you can reach me on Instagram, Snapchat. I'm on Facebook, Rising Spirit Reiki. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. And I haven't set up an email yet. I still have my ex's name, or I use my ex's name. So that's it. Celeste, you're next.
What up, y'all? No, kidding. I'm only on Instagram really just because that's where I follow pretty much everyone like you guys. So it's Celeste Plantagenet, PLANTAGENET York, as in New York. That's the only place you can find me, or just on my email, Celeste, CHAPARRO@gmail.com. I will be changing my last name because that was my fake father's last name. So I'm going to be changing it to my real family's name, which is Plantagenet York. Hopefully soon enough because it costs too much money to change your name, which is stupid. So yeah, that's where you can find me, either my email or Instagram. And if you find someone else with that name and she doesn't have colored hair, that's not her. Because in my profile picture, it's colored hair. It's not colored anymore because I cut it all off, but in my picture, it's all like colored, different colored rainbowed hair. So you found the right person if that's who you're looking for.
Thanks, you guys. I will write all my information down because I have to go. Thank you for being on with me. Codebreaker Real Talk. I love you, my brothers and sisters. Have a terrific day. See you.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, thank you.